Sebastiano! On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
With the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's bow time, and then there's Bojangler time. You heard right. The Bojangler fish fillet sandwich is back for limited time at participating Bojangles. A light, flaky, perfectly seasoned fish fillet with lettuce, cheese, and tartar sauce tucked inside a bun. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. More rain in our forecast on and off through the afternoon with a high temperature around 60. It does remain a WRAL weather alert day for messy conditions out there. Mid-40s overnight tonight. The rain begins to shift farther to the east. And for tomorrow, the bulk of the rain will be east of the Triangle area. We'll see highs a little cooler in the mid-50s.
Weather update brought to you by Blue Shark Vodka, the world's smoothest vodka. Pour Blue Shark Vodka at all your events to lift everyone's spirits. Blue Shark Vodka, the shark that doesn't bite. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 15 points to 49,497.
Sent back into the zone. Gavrikov can't clear. Kane's making a play coming in. Shot. He scores! Andrei Svechnikov. One touch here. A long drive. Bussy makes the save with the left leg, and you can hear the cheers.
It got tipped. It got tipped from high to low.
Now Miller with a stuffed chance, and Bussy closes the door there. He'll get it right back for Blake. He'll keep it in deep. Ehlers. Stahl. Bingo! Jordan Stahl seals it. What an effort from Nikolai Ehlers.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Happy Thursday. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. It is a hockey night in Carolina. First one in almost a month.
It's been 3 weeks.
Hockey night in Carolina tonight right here on 99.9 The Fan. You can catch the Carolina Hurricanes hosting Tampa Bay. There's also the NFL NFL scouting combine, getting my leagues confused. And, of course, we're in the thick of college basketball season. It's a good time to be a sports fan in the Triangle, and it's a good time for the Big Three at 3 to start the show.
Number 1.
Carolina Hurricanes back in action tonight. First day after like spring break, it feels like, right? Everybody's got to get back in the rhythm. Everybody's got to get set back up. And Tampa, you could argue, I don't even know. It might be a wash. They played last night.
They did.
So you could argue they're tired. You could argue they already knocked off the rust. Maybe it's a wash, right? They cancel each other out. But either way, the Carolina Hurricanes begin their final 25-game stretch of the season to get ready for the postseason, right? That's the way I look at it. Okay, and by the way, this is how I've looked at this season entirely, right? The Carolina Hurricanes are a team that can't really prove to us anything they haven't already proven to us in the regular season, right? We've seen them win divisions. We've seen them win pretty much everything you can win in the regular season. It's the postseason where we're looking for them to level up. So 25 games to make sure you are ready, to make sure everything is polished, to make sure everything is as good as it can be going into the postseason. And you bring a few guys with you that just had an eventful break over in Italy at the Olympics, including Sebastian Aho. Sebastian Aho spoke with the media upon his return, and he was asked what he'll learn from the Olympics that he can use to be better for the Carolina Hurricanes.
There's so much happened in that tournament. You play basically just one game, so it's intense and it's hard to win, right? And every little detail matters, and obviously you want those situations. You want to play in those situations to have that experience later on, and hopefully it'll help us through down the stretch. But yeah, there's a lot that I will carry the rest of my career.
I think it's difficult to say things like, I played pretty well with a ton of pressure on me. It's difficult to say that's what I'm going to tell you. I was pretty awesome over there, wasn't I? You see when the scoring needed to be open in the bronze medal game, who stepped up? That was me.
He was asked about the pressure of those games and those situations, and he did say that he likes that pressure. He wants that.
Well, first of all, you love to hear that, right? The winners want the ball with the game on the line. Shout out to Jimmy McGinty from the Replacements. But also, the more you do it, right? The more you do it, the more you do it, the more you have that pressure, the more you have elimination games, the more you feel the weight of your country on your shoulders, the more comfortable and the more effective you will be with it. So I think it's huge for Sebastian Aho. Seth Jarvis maybe didn't play as big a role for his team, was a late addition for his team in Team Canada, but still a whirlwind and great experience. Seth Jarvis was asked upon his return about moving forward and shifting the focus from Team Canada back to playing for the Canes.
You lost the last game, that sucks, and that's something that you dream of winning. So last couple of days, obviously, been thinking about that and kind of going through that. I mean, it was heartbreaking. It sucked a lot. So just get over that, and now helps being back with the guys, seeing everybody here and the practice today, just getting back in the flow of things and being around the guys, and just realize that there's a bigger goal we're after now. And so everything shifts to this team and their quest for the Cup.
It is kind of nice that there is a super high level, super prestigious goal that Team Canada athletes can go chase in the NHL. Because usually, like for most Olympians, if you don't achieve your goal in the Olympics, yeah, you got 3.5 years to just kind of stewing on that. Team Canada gets to almost immediately go, all right, I can't worry about that. I got this other big prestigious thing to go chase, right? A Stanley Cup. So you're hoping that a refresher can work for Seth Jarvis and not for any of the other Team Canada players that are on other teams. You hope they wallow in it and get caught in it. That's how it works. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, you can hear that game, Canes Tampa, tonight, right here on 99.9 The Fan, as well as the 99.9 The Fan app. Download it everywhere, Google Play Store, App Store, whichever phone you have. Completely free, by the way. That is number one. Let's get to number two.
Number two.
The NFL Scouting Combine is going on, which means there are trade talks happening and calls being made and all the formal, informal conversations. And Adam Schefter, ESPN senior NFL insider, tweeted out yesterday, another available quarterback. Carolina has been getting calls about Andy Dalton for a potential trade. Andy Dalton, really? There's two reactions to this for me, right? One's from the Panthers standpoint and one's more overall, so we'll start with overall. I think that says a lot about what the quarterback market is like this offseason. I think the draft is looked at very much so as Fernando Mendoza and then a large gap, and then whoever else you have as your second quarterback in the draft, whether it's Simpson from Alabama, Nussmeier, maybe a Klubnik, there are some from the lower levels. North Dakota State quarterback who actually started a game at running back his junior year is in the mix. And then the free agency class is leaving a lot to be desired as well. I don't think anybody's looking to bring Andy Dalton in as a starter, but if you're going to be forced to potentially start a quarterback you don't want to start as a rookie or a quarterback who is the best of whatever's left in free agency, Andy Dalton is a pretty good guy in the room, and he's a pretty good, if we need to start him for a month, he at least can, make the right checks and get us in the right play. And he's only making, 5.8 against the cap this year?
Something like that.
Which is very, very little for a very, very little for a quarterback.
I have a destination in mind.
I want to hear it.
New York Jets. New York Jets might want to draft a quarterback to develop, potentially. And who's their new offensive coordinator? Frank Reich, who just coached Andy Dalton a couple of years ago. Just saying. New York Jets that have a ton of draft capital, by the way, and I'm sure they have no problem sacrificing like a 6th-round pick or a 5th.
I'm like, do you think he made a huge impact in those 11 games that they were together?
Hey, there's a relationship there.
I was going to
say,
saying. I'm trying to think if there's any other, they wouldn't have crossed paths anywhere else.
With Phillip Rivers, you can bring him back.
Hey, don't put it
Matt
past
Ryan.
Don't put it past Frank Reich. Matt Ryan might promote himself.
But
if you can get
that's
something,
an idea.
My idea, whether it's the Jets or anyone, if you can get something for Andy Dalton, you get something for Andy Dalton.
Especially since Dan Morgan did say he does want to have a younger backup quarterback or someone to develop as well. He has stated that he wants to have that this offseason.
I wholeheartedly believe in what Tom Moore, a legendary offensive mind, said when he was the offensive coordinator for the Colts and Peyton Manning was the starting quarterback. If Peyton gets hurt, we're bleeped, and we don't practice bleeped. If Bryce Young gets hurt, there are very few backups that'll come in and achieve what you want to achieve. So if you can get something in a trade for your backup quarterback, especially an older one who's not a developmental prospect that you don't have plans for down the road, you take it and you say thank you. That's my official take. And I like Andy Dalton, by the way. I think he's good in the room. I think I'm not saying you have to get rid of him, but if somebody wants to offer you something for him, you say thank you. That's number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
For the first time in a long time, at least that I can remember, the Football Bowl Subdivision Oversight Committee, a.k.a. the NCAA, is showing its teeth. They are proposing the following penalties for schools that add football players who did not enter the transfer portal during the designated window. So what that means is you didn't put your name in the portal, but you can't prevent a student just from withdrawing from one school and applying to another and enrolling. So if that were to happen, the FBS Oversight Committee is proposing that the head coach of the school that plays the player would be prohibited from all football, recruiting, and on-field coaching and administrative duties, meaning team meetings, through the 6th contest of the season, through 6 games. The school would be fined 20% of its football budget, which would be gigantic, and they'd have to limit their roster, reduce their roster size by 5 spots for the next season, regardless of the head coach's employment status at the school. So you can't fire your coach to get out of it. That coming from NCAA PR. First of all, the NCAA, for the most part, has been very, what do you want me to do about it? For the last, year, right? They got beat up in court a bunch of times. So now it's just we got to make an NBA player eligible. Court told us to. What do you want us to do about it? We don't want to do it. What do you want us to do about it? Oh, did Michigan break some rules? What do you want us to do about it? Like, there's just a lot of, This is the first time they're at least threatening to do something in a while. The issue is, I don't know if it's more than a threat. I imagine if this were to happen, a player withdraws from a school, just applies and enrolls at a new school, wants to participate in the extracurricular activity that would be varsity football. If the NCAA comes through and starts levying all these punishments, I imagine there would just be a quick court case and one of those injunctions thrown on there, and then the player would be playing and there's nothing you can do. Temporary restraining orders, all the things that I didn't even know existed until like the last year because they're being thrown around all over in college sports. But I like the hustle, right? I don't know if they're going to win, but I like the hustle. Try to enforce some rules. I feel like I'm talking to like a friend's little brother, right? Go get him, buddy, and tussle his hair. Go on, NCAA. You try to punish one of those big schools that wants to get their quarterback. You go for it. Probably not going to win, but I'll be rooting for you. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Not only are the Carolina Hurricanes back on the ice, the game ice tonight at home in the Lenovo Center against Tampa Bay, but also we are honing in. It is just a week and change until the NHL trade deadline. What are the rumors surrounding the Canes? I'll tell you next.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $12 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
You pull up at a McDonald's drive-thru at the crack of dawn to get your $3 crispy chicken biscuit. You've been craving it all night. It was a very long night, but your taste buds pulled through. Those are no ordinary taste buds, and you are no ordinary human. You are a champion, and you deserve a $3 crispy chicken biscuit. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Hey, it's Dennis Cox from my friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I keep floating this number out there to people, and I keep saying it, and I'll say it again. 42 pounds. That's how much weight I lost. 42 pounds, over 15% of my body weight, thanks to the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. And here's what Raleigh Weight Loss Center and their program does compared to so many other weight loss journeys. They focus on reviving your sluggish metabolism. That's exactly what they did for me. They jump-started my metabolism. That way I can burn off fat. I can lose all the weight that I needed to, but also keeping my muscle mass in the process. No shots, no injections, none of the side effects, just looking and feeling better. Why suffer through side effects that take away from your quality of life versus doing the Raleigh Weight Loss Center program to both look and feel your best? I haven't felt this good in years. 919-897-7506 or visit RileightWeightLossCenter.com. The first 50 callers get $100 off. 919-897-7506. Results may vary.
Stahl's open. Stahl on a break. Stahl shoots. Scores! The captain picks the corner. He's got a 4-game point streak and the 4th goal of the game for the Canes.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. By the way, we will be taking first goal scorer predictions for the first time in a while on the phone lines at 4:33. If you think you know who will score the first goal for the Carolina Hurricanes tonight against Tampa and in what period you think they will score that goal, we want to hear from you. But that's coming up at 4:33, so about an hour and 15 minutes from now. And you'll also hear our predictions, and we'll get competitive again as we start up the last 25 games of the season. With that being said, let's talk a little trade talk, shall we? The NHL trade deadline is I think, going to sneak up on a lot of people because, you know, almost as soon as the action on the ice gets going and we're distracted by that, the trade deadline will be here.
Yeah, Friday next week.
Friday of next week, so a week from tomorrow.
3 p.m.
Right before our show,
I
so
know.
I'm sure we'll be talking about it. obviously you don't have to wait then, but I as I often say, deadlines get deals done, right? When you think you don't have any other choice, that's the move. Now, the Carolina Hurricanes have the reputation of, and I believe it's an earned reputation, that they're going to be in the mix. Okay, so when insiders start talking about what players may or may not be available, there's almost always a toss-in of the Carolina Hurricanes. Even if it's just like, and the Canes are always looking too. Like there's just always that, which I like and I respect, but it does make kind of sifting through all the rumors, what's real, what are they just checking in on, what's an actual possibility, becomes a little bit more difficult, right? If you were a fan of a more stingy in trades or a less likely to make moves team, when your team pops up in a rumor, it's like, whoa. With the Canes, half the times they pop up in a rumor, and I'm like, yeah, they're probably just calling about it. Yeah, Tulsky might have been calling about something else, and he just stumbled into it, and now he wants to know. All right, well, what's the price? Like, there's just an activity to the Carolina Hurricanes, which I think will make the next 1 week and 1 day pretty darn fun. With that being said, let's hear one of those trade ideas, shall we? Or at least one of the targets that are most often talked about as a big domino in this potential trade class. Elliot Friedman was on Sportsnet or of Sportsnet was discussing why teams would pay high for Robert Thomas.
I think there are teams. Like, one of the things I've learned over the years, Mike, is that there's the possibility of a 1C becoming available. You don't wait, right?
Yep.
Like, if you decide you need that player, you jump right in. You don't let anyone else get them. I could see it happening now. If St. Louis wanted to do it. Remember, Thomas has to approve anything.
Yep.
And if St. Louis wanted to do it, like, it's not like Doug Armstrong is a guy who's afraid. He's asking an awful lot, and if someone steps up, I don't see any reason why it couldn't happen now.
Doesn't see any reason why it couldn't happen now.
As opposed to waiting to the summer when the draft and stuff rolls around. So, no, if you can go get a guy, why wait?
And they're exactly right. The beginning of that conversation where the thing we've been talking about, and I'm not exaggerating on this, it's not like for a million years. The thing we've been talking about for 2 years involving the Carolina Hurricanes is centers don't grow on trees. Right? Because making the to-do list for the Canes over the last 2 years has been pretty easy. Right? Second line center, goaltender, like that's just kind of what it was, right? If you were going to make a move, that was going to be the move. And we just had to keep saying they don't grow on trees. There's not a lot of options. They don't grow on trees. Second line centers, people don't give them up. People don't give them up. And if they do, there's usually like the one flaw, right? Like, they're 30-something years old and on an expiring contract, or, it's a player who has an unbelievable injury history or something, right? There's usually a reason why the team is willing to move on from them. And the Canes have been pretty absurdly disciplined in not taking on someone else's flaws, and darn sure not paying a ton for someone else's flaws. So Robert Thomas, who, by the way, as I say, like injury history, is currently hurt. But he's 26 years old and a pretty good athlete, which is a pretty good indicator that you'll bounce back from injuries, right? The younger you are, the more springy you are, the more likely you are to recover. That goes across all sports. But a guy like Robert Thomas, it doesn't come around often, right? And sure, rumors of other 2Cs may pop up, but how much is it realistic? This seems like St. Louis is a seller. This seems like they are willing and they are listening.
Anyone over the age of 25, open for business.
And when that happens, you just don't want to miss out, right? You just don't want to miss out. I'm staying active talking to them if I'm Eric Tulsky, because this is probably the most ridiculous example as of late, but the Luka Doncic trade that happened in the NBA where Luka went from the Mavs to the Lakers, the most loud and angry response from around the league wasn't, oh my goodness, how did you trade Luka? That was a big part of it. But it was, we would have gave you more than that, right? It was, why didn't you ask? Why didn't you shop him around? I'm not letting someone else get Robert Thomas if I'm willing to pay more than they are. Now, there might be a point where I go, that's too high, right? And St. Louis would be smart to ask too high originally. And they might be, ignore the injury, and I'm not willing to. If there's a 2C out there, if there's a true second-line center or a top-line center that is truly available, I am making 1,000% sure that nobody trades for that player for less than I'd be willing to give up for that player. Unless it's a weird situation where they're like in our division and they're taking less actively from someone else despite knowing our offer to get them to the Western Conference or whatever. And I'm not saying that's happening. I'm just saying I want everything to be crystal clear, because opportunities to get players at that position of that skill level don't happen often. And it's something that the Canes, as we've talked about a bunch, likely would see a great improvement if they could find. And I'll quote something here again from Sportsnet. It was Nick Kyprios talking about Jesperi Kotkaniemi being a possible trade candidate. This was in an article where he broke down a ton of different players. And Nick said, Carolina won't just give them away, and the return has to further their ambitions of making a Stanley Cup push. This was a couple days ago. Now, first of all, I don't know why everyone that hears Kotkaniemi's name in a trade assumes that Carolina would give him away for scraps. Like, his name in a trade inherently means they're getting more value back than giving up, and that's the only way they do it. But that's not my point. My point is the return has to further their ambitions of making a Stanley Cup push. Yes, they are in that window. A Stanley Cup push. Think of the ways that would most greatly increase their chances of winning a cup. Right? The way I always describe it is every year there's 7 or 8 teams that could realistically win a Stanley Cup. And this goes for most professional leagues for the championship. Some might be 20%, some it might be all the way down to 1 or 2%. But there's 7 or 8 teams that could win. And all you can do is do that as many years in a row and boost up the percentage as much as you possibly can every year. I'm one of the ways the Carolina Hurricanes could boost their percentage the most is with a second line center. Now, obviously, Robert Thomas is the flashy name that's being mentioned now. We played the audio for you. There's other ways, right? More than one way to get there. But I believe that is one of the best ways to boost your percentage of winning a cup. And that has to be what every move, like the lens you look through every move, is how much does it increase our percentage of winning a cup? That's what you ask your inner circle, right? When you have the opposing team's GM on hold. All right, hold on one second. Let me talk with my guys. Click. Does this bring us closer to winning a cup this year or within the next couple? These are the good times, right? What's the saying? I wish we knew we were in the glory days before we left them. Like, these are the good times. These are when you don't know it, but it might be the move that changes the trajectory of a cup winner. And that's got to be exciting. Next 1 week and 1 day has to be exciting because it might be the move that puts you over the top. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, let me tell you about Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Actually, you know what? Like winning a championship, big life event, you might want to go grab a pre-owned or vintage Rolex, put it on your wrist and go, now I'll always remember that championship team. Could be a graduation, could be a marriage, could be an anniversary, could be the birth of a child, could be so many different things. But a luxury timepiece from Bailey's Fine Jewelry and the Village District location where they have the Fox and Bailey watch shop and the Omega Boutique. A pre-owned vintage, super unbelievable, memorable wristwatch that can help you mark the passage of time, right? I've had this watch since, and then whatever comes after that sentence is something cool. I've had this watch since the birth of my first child. I've had this watch since I graduated from school. Had this watch since, and go on and on. Then eventually you're passing it down to your kids, and they're saying, this watch has been in my family since my parents' 10th anniversary. All of those things could be going on. So check it out. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Village District location. Blanc Pond, Glasuta Original, Omega, as I mentioned, pre-owned and vintage Rolex, pre-owned and vintage Cartier, Hamilton, Norcanes, Nomos, Timex, every different kind of watch you can think of. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Village District location. Just make sure they know you heard about it from me, Tim, right here on 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break. When we come back, we have the Dean's List coming your way. Bunch of honorees. Next up.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LAUGH to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LAUGH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LAUGH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
This is the sound of Jack, buzz cutting his way to a small fortune. To Jack, every time he cuts his own hair, that's $50 right in his pocket. If Jack sees DIY buzz cuts as a saving strategy, Wells Fargo is right behind him. And with their mobile app, tracking his savings is easy. Oh, ouch. However you make money work, we can work with that.
Mobile carriers' message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Littles get it in for Gungbo. Looking back door, the lob to Evans! And he dunks it down! What a play call out of the timeout!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, we have Carolina Hurricanes hockey as they start back up after the Olympic break. Here on 99.9 The Fan at 7 tonight as they host Tampa. There will be Stormwatch with Adam Gold at 6:30 to get you ready for it. So it's all right here. Just, same schedules and everything as before the Olympic break, but I'll remind you a bunch of times today just to make sure we're all back in the rhythm. And we have first goal scorer prediction coming up about an hour from now. So keep your thinking caps on for who scores the first goal for the Carolina Hurricanes and in what period you think that first goal will be scored. We'll open up the phone lines and we'll let you know when at about 4:33. Now, this time is for the Dean's List. This is where we highlight those that deserve a little extra praise, a few extra accolades in the college sports world that we hold so near and dear here in the Triangle. We'll start with the women's basketball team from NC State. Press release put out today. They're going to the 2026 Thanksgiving in Florida Elevance Health Women's Fort Myers tip-off.
That was a mouthful, but all right.
I think I just added the Thanksgiving in Florida because it's going to be over Thanksgiving in Florida, so that's where they'll be spending it. It's really the Elevance Health Women's Fort Myers tip-off. The event will take place Thanksgiving, November 27th, 28th. 8 teams will be there. They have announced 3, Georgia Tech, Kansas State, and Villanova, along with NC State. So I like those events. I like the tournament feel. I think it's good experience for your squad, and you should do them as often as you can. More Dean's List. How about I'm going to come in the side door on this one, everybody. Juke Harris, Wake Forest.
All right.
Now, Wake Forest lost to Boston College last night. That's a bad loss. Okay, that is a bad loss. However, Juke Harris, in that bad loss, had 38 points on 12 of 19 shots, 6 of 12 from 3, and 6 rebounds.
That's a heck of a night.
If you remove the whole goal of basketball is to win thing and not lose to teams that you are, by pretty much every metric, a good amount better than, that's a great night for Juke Harris.
Yeah, Juke Harris won.
He's a Dean's Lister with the acknowledgement that, the thing he was trying to do the most, he wasn't able to do. It's a bummer for him because other than that, that's probably a pretty cool memory. Instead, he had to be sour-faced in the postgame. It doesn't matter if we didn't win. Back of his head's probably going 38 on 19 shots.
Y'all, I did my part.
Yeah. Resist the urge to say that. It's there. But resist the urge. Dennis, do you have any Dean's Listers you'd like to write here?
I do have a couple. First one I'm going to throw on here is UConn men's basketball, and in particular, their defense.
I had UConn defense on it.
Yeah, 24, that's the number. St. John's yesterday in their game against UConn missed their last 24 shots from the field. St. John's, nationally ranked team, missed their last 24 field goals in the game.
I actually think
that's stupid.
I think the number is 17 minutes and 28 seconds. They went the final 17 minutes and 28 seconds without a made shot.
Yeah, that's bad.
There's only 20 minutes and a half.
Yeah, I know.
They made a bucket 2.5 minutes into the second half and didn't know that was the last bucket they were going to make.
Imagine that.
What's the cliche? One day your parents put you down and never pick you back up, and you just don't know?
Mm-hmm.
One day they made a shot with 2.5 minutes to go into the second half, and they were unaware that was the last shot they were going to make. They made just 2 field goals in the second half. 2.
So bad.
Or perhaps UConn's defense turned into the 85 Bears, and
right,
there was just no way. So that's why UConn's defense makes the Dean's List.
Yes, they turned into a middle school basketball
turned
team.
Into the 04 Pistons, and
this is wild.
Wingspan all over the place.
My second Dean's List.
All right, let's hear it.
ECU football. They actually announced their schedule. We have dates and everything. Don't have times, but we have dates for their upcoming schedule. Obviously, they open on the year at Alabama.
Okay.
They open at Alabama on September 5th. Okay.
Shock the world.
All right. But then you could say the real season starts actually September 12th. That's Saturday. They're home against App State. This is their second game of the season. Then they're at
That's another
Old Dominion.
really fun game.
Yes, it really is. It's like whoever wins that there should be a grill that's a trophy for the best tailgates. I think that should be passed around between.
It should be whoever there has to be points added for tailgating.
Yeah.
Whoever has more grills out there gets starts up with a field goal ahead or something like that.
They should do a street long flip cup.
Yeah.
Whoever
exactly.
finishes first gets
Now we're
you
talking.
win the coin toss.
At the coin toss, the ref is well, this team won cornhole by 6. This team won flip cup by 4. This team won, whatever other games you play at yours. Flag football by this. You win the coin toss. That's how it's decided.
Coin toss should be decided by that.
That's funny. I'd be in, and I think they would go aggressively to make sure their team win.
Right.
That's fun. Any others from the schedule that stood out to you?
They closed the year at home against Florida Atlantic, but also here's the thing about the American Conference this upcoming year. Whomever's the highest seed at the end of the season for their conference championship hosts. There's no neutral site. So if ECU is the number 1 seed in the American, they will host at Dowdy-Ficklen the American Championship.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
All right, more Dean's List here. Shout out to ECU, by the way. More Dean's List. Tony Bennett, former UVA coach. He was announced by the Lakers as an NBA draft advisor for the Lakers. I just think that's like the dream if you retire early from coaching. You get to stay in basketball. You get to do the fun part of like watching ball and saying this guy's good, but you don't actually have to do any of the part of coaching that, the day-to-day grind that absolutely stinks. You don't have to worry about NIL. You don't have to try to keep people out of the portal. You don't have to do any of that. You just get to go to the Lakers front office and say, good. No, not good. I just think that's pretty good for Tony Bennett. So I want to give him a shout out. And lastly, for the Dean's List here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan, Isaiah Evans, Duke wing. If I right now, with the way that the hype has gone, asked you, now the way I'm phrasing this question, obviously you know which side to pick, but if I made you guess who scored more points, Con Knipple for Duke last season, we're talking per game, or Isaiah Evans this year for Duke, who are you choosing?
So Con Knipple points per game last year versus Isaiah Evans points per game this year?
Yep.
I probably would have taken Con Knipple off initial thought, but the way you posed that question, I'm going to say Isaiah Evans.
Isaiah Evans right now is averaging 14.5 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
Con Knipple averaged 14.4 last season.
Interesting.
Con Knipple was the 4th overall pick and is absolutely lighting up the NBA.
He's also probably NFL. The number 3 scoring option on the team last year?
Yeah, probably 2.
Maybe 2?
I would
depend on what Proctor was doing that day.
Yeah, if Proctor's hot, that's different.
Yeah.
But it just seems like maybe Isaiah Evans is going under the radar a little bit. Each of them had ball-dominant leading scorers that they were playing off of. So they both probably could score more, but, Flagg and Boozer get the lion's share. So it's a little interesting little tidbit there. Isaiah Evans, and by the way, he was on the team last year with Con Knipple, so maybe there's a text being fired off like, you only scored 14.4 points per game last year? Haha, couldn't be me. 14.5. There you go. That's the Dean's List here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, and I've noticed some things in the recruiting rankings that I think will interest many of you. But before we move on to that conversation, Dennis Cox says something he'd like to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Hockey's back, folks. I know we're all excited about hockey being back, but there's something going on out there for you hockey fans that's actually been going on for a few weeks now. And if you haven't gone in on this yet, you need to right now. The Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle, courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. Simple to enter. You go to caniacsbike.com. I know you're probably thinking, it's wet and rainy outside. Why would I enter in to win a motorcycle? Well, spring's right around the corner, folks. I don't know if you check and seen. Might see some 70 degrees and sunshine this weekend. I'll be out on my motorcycle this weekend, and I want you at some point to be out on that beautiful custom V4 Ducati motorcycle. It's a gorgeous bike. I can't own it, but you can. Go to caniacsbike.com. You'll see pictures of the bike. If you want to see it in person, swing by Art Moto Garage. They're located right here in Raleigh. Check them out. caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It started with Gunnar Rivers committing to NC State, and everybody noticed something a little different about his recruiting ranking on many of the major websites. From there, I noticed a whole bunch of things that caught my eye. We're going to try to get to the bottom of it next.
I'm very honored by this award, and I always just try to work really hard in school and soccer, and it's nice to be recognized with something this special.
The Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month from 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union. To nominate your athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's bow time, and then there's Bojangler time. You heard right. The Bojangler fish fillet sandwich is back for limited time at participating Bojangles. A light, flaky, perfectly seasoned fish fillet with lettuce, cheese, and tartar sauce tucked inside a bun. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Had to wait for the drums to really kick in there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. So, I'm going to give you a little background here. There is a entire cottage industry, if you're unaware, of ranking football recruits online. It's Rivals. It used to be Scout.com. It was Rivals.com. 247 has jumped in a big way. And with those rankings, there's always a bit of mystery, right? Who's deciding? Who's the rankings? How do you see all these recruits? So when Gunnar Rivers, Phillip Rivers' son, committed to NC State a handful of days ago, and then a couple of days, or actually less than a day later, in many of the composite sites, the averages of all these sites that I just mentioned, the ranking tumbled. It drew a lot of attention, okay? And because of that, I got very curious. And I began looking into the system, how it happened, and it turns out that Rivals.com is one of the rankers that is averaged in with the others, and the ones I mentioned, and maybe one or two more. And they tumbled his ranking quite a bit, which immediately made my antennas go up. Because it seemed, my impression was there's nothing really going on right now in the football world, right? Middle of February, the NFL isn't even playing. So what could he have done? And I started looking into it. And if you're wondering like how far it fell, he fell from the 172nd overall recruit in the country, according to Rivals. This is just Rivals now, not a composite, not an average, to outside the top 300 and a long way outside the top 300. We don't know how much because they only rank overall recruits until 300. But he fell from the 16th overall quarterback to the 27th overall quarterback. He fell from a 4-star to a 3-star. So after a little bit of back and forth with Luke Stampini, who is On3/Rivals executive editor, I learned that they only update their rankings every once in a while. They updated it in October, and they updated it in February. That's kind of the schedule for juniors. So the drop wasn't like over the last week. It wasn't, since he committed. It was what they perceived to be the drop in rankings for Gunnar Rivers from October, the last time they updated their rankings, to February, which explains it a little bit better, right? Because obviously he would have played high school football games. He would have done things, so there could be a reason for it. With that being said, I wanted to hear the reason for it myself, right? I wanted to learn more about the process. So as Dennis gives me the thumbs up here, Luke Stampini, the On3 and Rivals executive editor, is joining us here on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Luke, thank you for being willing to jump on and clear up some things for us. As you can understand, right, when Gunnar Rivers commits to NC State and then we all go to check the rankings and they're significantly lower, that raised some questions. So I guess we'll start there, right? Why did his ranking go from 16th overall quarterback in the country according to Rivals to 27.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate timing incident, I guess. Is our rankings release calendar is set years in advance. We've stuck to the same calendar for years. We've have the same calendar going forward, where we will always do that junior/rising senior rankings overhaul in February, and so we'll always do it on a Monday. And so, like, that schedule is set. So the ranking that you saw for him before that release that we had on Monday was actually done in October. And so that's the last time we've updated the 2027 rankings halfway through their junior year. And then we focus all of our attention those next 3-4 months on the senior class. And the reason we do that is we're about to have our final ranking for the senior class. It's the ranking that everyone's going to be looking at when those guys go to the NFL draft in 3, 4, or 5 years. And so we spend all of our time kind of, let's, put a bow on that class before we move on to the 27 class. And so do our final ranking on the 26 class at the end of January. And it's all in on 2027 class, right? Doing a deep dive on their junior film and everything. And so how we do our rankings is we do a deep dive by position, and we only rank, the position. We spend 2 days watching every quarterback from 1 to 157, right? And we watch their film, watch their game film. We have access to the full game film. We have access to testing, access to height, weight, all the things, right? And we try to get the quarterbacks in order how we feel best. And then we'll move on to offensive tackle or whatever. And we do all 12 positions that we have for our ranking. And that spends about 2.5 weeks of going position by position, looking at all that, before then we all come together and say, all right, let's try to stack this Rivals 300 and get the 300 best prospects in here. And so, it wasn't a case of, well, Gunnar Rivers commits to NC State today, so let's drop him. That process had already been in the works. The quarterbacks had already been done 2 weeks in advance. The 300 was done 5 days in advance before we announced it. And, it just, unfortunately, he committed 5 hours after we released our rankings and it is what it is. But, it's not a thing where, he committed to NC State, let's move him down. It was more of a, how does he fit amongst the quarterbacks? And the timing was just bad.
So what would lead to a dramatic change in your evaluation, right? Whether it's a player like Gunnar going from very highly ranked to not as highly ranked, or a player like I saw a corner from the state of Georgia went from unranked, unrated up to the number 25 player in the country, according to the Rivals rankings. How does a swing that great happen?
Yeah, so I would say more prospects come onto the radar their junior year than any other year. The sophomore rankings in general are not good across the entire industry if you actually go back and look at those initial kind of rankings that they did after their sophomore season. There's various reasons why kids come onto the radar, across the country from sophomore to junior year. Maybe they didn't play much at their sophomore year. Maybe they go to a big school and, it's hard for underclassmen to get on the field, or whatever the reason may be. There is a whole lot more players that become identifiable prospects their junior year than or see or can find kind of your sophomore season. And in general, I think what fans probably struggle with is these prospects come on the radar their sophomore year, and they think that those rankings are, the gospel, when in reality, there's so much that changes from sophomore film to junior film to the most important aspect of our whole rankings, the most important data point the entire way through, the senior film, right? So the junior film is good. The junior film is better than the sophomore film, but the holy grail is going to be that senior film. and evaluating that, and then, hopefully getting the rankings as good as possible so we can identify the players that are going to get drafted and, have great college careers and things like that. That's number one. Number two, I think there's a misconception out there that if you're a 3-star, you're no good at football, or, 4-star, awesome at football, 3-star, terrible at football. That's not the case whatsoever. And so Gunnar Rivers his grade was a 90. That's the lowest of the 4-stars. That's what he was before this rankings update. He went from a 90 to an 89. He went down 1 point. That's just the threshold for the 4-star to 3-star. So we're not saying Gunnar Rivers is terrible. We don't think he's good or nothing like that. It's just our staff, our ranking staff thought, you know what, I think he's best slotted there as an 89, a really good football player. He's going to have a good college career and all the things. So that's kind of, and I have some talking points here. Like I reached out to our scouts and I said, give me the pros and cons. When you went through and you watched him and you compared him to all the other quarterbacks in the 2027 class, like what was it that caused you to go from, like you said, the 17th to the 27th quarterback? And so the pros were very accurate pocket passer, process as well, does a good job getting the ball out of his hands quickly, understands the offense, productive junior season, comfortable working within the pocket. Again, we don't think he's a bad player.
Yeah.
We think he's going to do a really good job at NC State. He's the highest of the 3-stars, which is really, really good. Needs improvements. This is what they sent over. Physical tools are questionable based on the film. Arm strength doesn't stack up to others in his class that we have ranked higher. Primarily an in-pocket passer that doesn't show much mobility / rushing ability. And so those were the kind of things. When they looked at Gunnar Rivers and compared him to all the other quarterbacks in the 2027 class, obviously there's a lot of positives there. They didn't think his arm strength was quite on par with other quarterbacks, other arms that they saw in the class, and then the mobility as well was a question of theirs. Now, does that mean Gunnar Rivers will always be the number 27 quarterback in the country, 89 3-star? No, because like I said, the most important data point is still to come. We may see him as a senior. He's got a stronger arm. He looks more mobile and all the things, right, that can still happen along the way. So, we like him, and that, it's unfortunate timing, but those were kind of the pros and cons as they went through all those 2027 quarterbacks and compared them to the others.
Luke Stampini, On3 Rivals executive editor, joining us here on the Heister Automotive Group hotline to talk some rankings for the 2027 class, and he just broke down new NC State commitment Gunnar Rivers. Luke, as I wanted to make sure that the fan base wasn't maybe overreacting to something that's a bunch more common than it was, so I did a little bit of a deeper dive. And in your latest update, right, from the October ranking you discussed to the February ranking, which is out there currently, just under 85%, 84.6% of players that are committed to the ACC right now dropped in your position rankings, some of them by double digits, compared to only 43.3% of athletes that are committed to SEC schools. Does that surprise you?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the SEC and Big Ten have separated themselves a bit from these other conferences as a whole. I think the NFL draft has kind of shown that over the years. I have a feeling that we will see in this upcoming NFL draft that the Big Ten again will take a big chunk out of it, and the SEC will be well represented as well. I don't necessarily have an opinion on that or not. It's not like we look at these kids and say, well, where they're going, that's where we're going to rank them. Interesting stat, but I think we released a ranking or a countdown of our final 2026 ranking, and we did a conference kind of divide based off the industry ranking, whether that's the ESPN and the 24/7 Sports and Rivals all kind of factor into that formula. And it's very similar where, a large portion of those are SEC commits. The next largest portion was a Big Ten commits, and then the ACC and the Big 12 were kind of the next down, in that, I guess, divide of how those prospects were ranked.
So even if we just look at the ACC commitments here, of the 11 players that were committed to the ACC in the October ranking, only Tristan Hughes improved his position, right? So there were 11 players committed to the ACC in the October ranking. Just one of them moved up in their position rankings. Everybody else either stayed stagnant, it was a quarterback from Louisville, or went down. It was everybody else.
The problem with the rankings, and it's hard. If you move one guy up, you find some guy and you're like, I feel great about this guy. He is under the radar. And I move him up, and he is the number 50 interior offensive lineman. I say, you know what? He needs to be top 10 interior offensive lineman. So I move him from 50 to number 10. All those guys below him now all get a, quote, go down in the ranking, a negative. And so that's the issue is, like, you find guys that you want to skyrocket up the rankings. You really don't touch any of those other kids that happen to be below him necessarily, but they all get a -1, in their position ranking. Well, only one kid got a positive ranking. He caused all these others kind of below him to do that. And then you do that across multiple kids. You find 20 people across all these positions that, hey, you're a little too low on, let's shoot them up. And all those people, it starts stacking up. So it looks like, and I don't know the specifics of these kids that you're mentioning. I'd have to look. Was it an active drop necessarily? Like, did we really go from a 92 grade on them to an 87 grade or whatever it may be? Or was it just the natural flow? Oh, we discovered this new interior offensive lineman who wasn't on our radar, wasn't even in our ranking, in October, and we put him in. Well, he shuffled a few people back. So, like, I guess that's what I would say to, like, when you look at the plus minus of it, is understand that there's a lot more that drop when you find that kid that you think you underrated and is a really good player and you want to shoot him up the rankings.
The point I was making, and I appreciate that context, is that the only one that did move up, right, was the player that decommitted from Syracuse. So of the 11, 10 for 10 that stayed committed to the ACC moved down. One moved up was the player that decommitted from the ACC. And similar to the timing of the Gunnar Rivers thing, like, that's going to raise eyebrows simply because of the kind of guaranteed nature. And if you include Gunnar Rivers, the 3 new commits to the ACC all dropped by at least 10 spots in their position ranking, which I assume isn't what you described as just one player getting boosted up and moving down a slot. If you're moving down 10 position spots, that's a bit more kind of concrete.
Sure, and I would say, like, you can probably pull these numbers out on a lot of conferences or a lot of schools if you really want to dig into it. But I
have the 85% for the ACC. It's 43 for the SEC, 59 Big Ten, 57 for the Big 12, and Notre Dame, just because they're also included, is 50%. So the ACC is far and away above.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you as far as, like, the schools, but I can promise you and I can guarantee you that, like, that's not really factoring in. We are honing in on these offensive linemen, these offensive tackles. Let's get this offensive tackle in order. A lot of times we don't even know. The Gunnars Rivers slot was done before we even had a clue, right? Our rankings guys are in there, hammering away on film. They're not out here, calling prospects and trying to figure out where they're going to go and like, what's the scoop, what's the intel out there. Their whole objective is, let's get this ranking in order as best we can right now. Okay. And unfortunately, we run into these situations where, 8 Florida Gator commits drop in a ranking, and it looks like we all hate the Florida Gators. At one point and another, it looks like we hate your school, whatever that school may be. Whether it's Auburn, whether it's Nebraska, whether it's NC State in this case. So it's just unfortunately that sometimes happens. Now, there's not a list where it's like, all right, where did the SEC schools go up? Did we get the SEC commits up? Did we get that's just, unfortunately, that's not how it works. That's not how it goes. There's a whole other recruiting apparatus going on in conjunction with this that the scouting team is kind of oblivious to when they're in the weeds trying to slot, the 75 best tight ends in the country coast to coast.
Okay, so that was actually going to be my final question here. Right on your rankings, there's the status where, quite like you said, you didn't have your scouts out there trying to predict where guys were going to go, but like on the status, it says like 97% A&M or it's 63% to Illinois or whatever it is. I'm just making stuff up there.
Mm-hmm.
Those are completely separate.
RPM, yeah.
Those are completely separate. So the scouting department that does the rankings isn't part of the group that's trying to predict where they end up?
No, they're not.
Okay.
And they don't even, this profile that you see as a fan, that has 98.9% prediction to NC State isn't even the profile that they work off of. They have another profile that has, pertinent information like height, weight, 40s, short shuttles. It's got camp film, it's got, game film and whatnot. It's a whole other database that isn't built for really fans. It's more built for, personnel departments and things like that, that they're kind of working off of and hand size and just a bunch of data points versus, it's NC State 75%, Auburn 25%, that the fans, the public-facing profile that you guys see.
It sounds like the back end would be something that me as a football nerd would love to see. I appreciate it, Luke. We actually went over a minute or two, so we got to wrap it up quick. But thank you for jumping on the show and giving us some insight.
Yep, thank you. Have a good one.
Once again, that is Luke Stampini, the On3 and Rivals executive editor. I had to get some questions answered about the old ranking system. We have football at 4 coming up next. Don't go anywhere. It is Heart Health Month, and I am here with Bethany Usowitz from WakeMed Cardiac Rehab, exercise physiologist. Bethany, let's start with the who's. Who needs cardiac rehab, and how quickly should they begin after a cardiac event?
Heart disease is the number one killer in America. So I'd like to say everyone, but it's mostly folks who have gone through a cardiac event like a heart attack or people who had heart surgery. It could be a valve, it could be angioplasty or a stent placed, really to help prevent heart disease from progressing.
Now, when you say everyone, is this something you should look into even before a cardiac event?
Good question. There's not a ton of research around what you might call prehab, so like preventative in these items, but that's just anyone can exercise and learn to do these things. Rehab is really post-surgery, and that's where the research lies, and it helps those patients prevent another event or another surgery.
To learn more about WakeMed Cardiac Rehab, visit wakemed.org.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or price stopped, opt out.
Hey, man, how did the date go?
I had to cancel. I don't get paid until Friday.
You didn't know that you can get up to a $750 paycheck advance with the current app?
Where was that information yesterday?
Just text them. See if you qualify. $750? Boom. And right now, they're offering a $75 bonus when you set up an eligible direct deposit.
Think I should call her back?
Yeah.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Hurry and receive an extra $75 sign-up bonus right now. Text WORTH to 323232. That's WORTH to 323232. WORTH to 323232.
Paycheck advance is offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com/radio or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
They score! Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Weather.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. More rain on and off for the remainder of the afternoon. It's likely to stick with us on through the evening commute and then gradually slide off to the east. A high of 60 this afternoon, and we drop down to 44 overnight tonight. For tomorrow, most of the rain will be south and east of the triangle. Our highs will be a bit cooler in the mid-50s.
4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 17 points to 49,499.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for football at 4. It's actually time for football at 4:07. Thank you to Luke Stampini again for jumping on the show. Little rankings and recruiting talk before the break, and that gets us to football at 4 a little bit late. With that being said, the NFL scouting combine is going on, and it is one of the few times during the offseason where we hear from darn near everyone in the Carolina Panthers organization, right? We heard earlier in the week from Dan Morgan, and we've heard from Dave Canales, the head coach. We even heard from the new offensive play caller, Brad Idzik. One person that we had yet to hear from until he was interviewed by Anish Shroff, the voice of the Carolina Hurricanes, the voice of the Carolina Panthers, is Brant Tillis. He is kind of the second in command in the front office. He came over from the Chiefs a couple of years ago. He has I'd say a mystique about him. He sees the analytics and the contracts of the world at a higher level than the rest of us. And I'm always fascinated when we hear from Brant. So we have some audio for you. Brant Tillis, first of all, this might be why I like him, because I'm a gigantic fan of the movie Moneyball. And here he is talking about the impact, I should say, that book, Moneyball, written by Michael Lewis, has on his approach.
To see that I could work in sports and contribute in a meaningful way, was really important to me. And just some of the themes in the book about how there are very simple answers to complex problems. That was another eye-opening moment for me. So when the A's talk about, we focus on on-base percentage rather than batting average, it was like, well, that makes all the sense in the world, because you're just looking to see, did the guy get out or not, as opposed to, did he get a hit? And so those are the kinds of things that I think about all the time, still to this day.
Oh, a man after my own sports movie / sports book heart. So he has kind of infused the Panthers with that other form of thinking, right? I can be there without being basically Dan Morgan, right? Without being giant football guy that tackles and plays linebacker and is strong and wears the Ray-Bans. He can be Brant Tillis in the front office. And because of that, he brings a different outlook. So here's Tillis on the outlook of balancing drafting for need versus drafting for best player available.
I would love for us to always be taking the best player available. And the interesting thing about the team building process is that when you're building your team in the early stages, like we've been, it's really easy to just go grab good players, grab a T-Mac, grab a Nick Scorton, get these really good players in the building. Sign a Trey Merrick, sign a Robert Hunt, a Damian Lewis, get all these great players in. Well, now we have a lot of these core pieces in place, so we need to, we're trying to fill in gaps. But it becomes a dangerous game if you just pick the best player available as players age out or as players get hurt, as we learned this year, right? Depth becomes very important. So you just can't have enough good players.
It's an interesting way to go about it. I would actually argue that the way the Panthers are kind of built, it's set up for best player available. And what I mean by that is the places where they have their inarguables, they're like, hey, that guy's starting, other than quarterback, are the positions where you play more. Right? Who are the best players on the Carolina Panthers? It's Derek Brown. It's J.C. Horn. It's Tetairoa McMillan. Right? It's I guess maybe offensive guard, but they still have center available. Mm-hmm. Those are all positions where you play more than one. right? It's not like, oh, we have Derek Brown. We couldn't use another good defensive tackle.
Right.
Like sometimes happens at quarterback, or if you're in a one tight end offense, or running back if you have a true bell cow. Like there are certain positions where they call them onesies, which is a hilarious way, like in the rough and tumble world of like NFL draft prep. It's like, oh, we got a onesie coming up. But they call them onesies. The Panthers I think are mostly open at onesie outside of quarterback. And I don't think there's a quarterback that they would want to take at the places they're picking. So I think they're still best player available all the way through, right? If the best player available is a wide receiver, you can have 3 wide receiver sets. If the best player available is a defensive tackle, yeah, how about that rotation?
Sure.
Obviously, edge rusher. If the best player available is a corner, how awesome would it be to have, someone who, if J.C. Horn or Mike Jackson are out for a couple games, can step in and be elite, or can play in the slot, can be the nickel corner, can do all the other things. Safety is a need. Edge rusher is a need. Offensive lineman, as I mentioned, if you're going interior offensive lineman, perhaps there's not a starting spot at guard. But if it's a flexible enough player, play him at center. Tackles, you need tackles. I think they're still firmly best player available, even with all of the kind of obstacles that are placed in your way that Brant Tillis just described. He was almost talking generically about building an NFL team, but when you look at just the Panthers, I don't think they're dealing with those problems. And then, of course, I had to keep saying other than quarterback. Everybody wants to talk about Bryce. Brant Tillis was asked about how they're approaching, if they're approaching, a Bryce Young contract extension. Here's his response.
There's a lot of evaluation that goes into whether or not to extend any player's contract.
Fair.
And so, we got to look at performance, at what the likely cost is going to be, how that fits into our plan, and then what the length of the contract is going to be. All of these things really come into play, and it's just making sure that all the pieces fit. And like we also have to be looking at, okay, what are our alternatives? So forget Bryce for a second. Not that we want to, but like just any player that we talk about an extension with, is it possible to replace that player in free agency this year or in the draft, or does that person already exist in our roster? And so like those are the questions that we ask ourselves constantly about every player.
Well, first of all, I want to make something clear. He's not the final voice, right? So it makes it very difficult for him to speak on individual players or specific situations because, it's not inherently his decision. So I do think that's why, and it was, I call it team-owned propaganda, right? Anish Shroff is the voice of the Panthers asking the questions. So it's a friendly audience, as you know. But I think that's why he pivots kind of to like, let's forget about Bryce and just talk about players in general, right? Just like when we were talking about best player available, he started talking about building a team in general. With that being said, this is not the offseason to move on from a quarterback. It's not.
Far from it.
So maybe that played a factor into them picking up the fifth-year option as quickly as they did, showing the confidence as quickly as they did. It didn't take a genius to look ahead 6 months and go, well, we know whose contract's expiring. We know who's going to be in the draft for the most part, and it's not going to be a strong year. So we can use our almost default. We got to stick with Bryce because there's no other options. We have that conversation on this show all the time. If you're going to fire a coach, do you have someone better to replace him? Are you going to bench a player? Do you have someone better to replace him? If not, don't fire and don't bench. When it comes to a contract extension, that's not as true, right? Keeping a person is different than choosing to extend a person. Choosing to extend a person includes not just, do we have a replacement now? It's, will we be happy passing on all future possibilities of replacement? So it's a different beast there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's Brant Tillis, again, and shout out to Anish Shroff for handling the interview. I think he asked a lot of really good questions. Dennis, as we move on from that interview, you have something you'd like to tell everybody.
I do. Dennis Cox here real quick once again from my good friends over at Law Tigers. If you haven't done it already, folks, I need you to do it now. I need you to go to caniacsbike.com and enter for your chance to win a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle. That's right, I'll say it again. caniacsbike.com. Enter for your chance to win a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle because the Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky fan that custom Canes Ducati motorcycle, courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. Like I said, simple to enter. Go to caniacsbike.com. Takes you a minute. 1 minute. Done. Bike will be given away April 4th, live at the game, on the ice, and it includes tickets into a catered suite as well. That in and of itself is pretty awesome. And that's the thing about Law Tigers is that Law Tigers, they represent the motorcycle riding community. Myself as a motorcycle rider, I know if I'm injured in a motorcycle accident, I call 1-800-LAW TIGERS even before I get in touch with the insurance company because, let's be honest, insurance companies want to give you the least amount possible. Law Tigers, they are there to work for you. They are there to fight for you. They know what your bike and your gear are worth, but also, most importantly, what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation with Law Tigers, it's always free, and you don't owe a dime until your case settles. They're part of the motorcycle riding community, and they want to make sure that they protect and take care of that community. 1-800-LAW TIGERS. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, will be back with Cons and Cons. And first goal scorer predictions for the Carolina Hurricanes game tonight against Tampa. Start thinking if you haven't done so already. Who will score the first goal for the Canes tonight and in what period?
Listen for the Did He Just Do That?
Star to the cup for the tomahawk. Timeout, Syracuse.
Listen for the Get That Out of Here's.
McKinney into the paint, blocked by Brown from behind. Get that out of there.
Did he just do that?
Now Caleb Foster ahead to Evans and a dunk to say goodnight.
The road to Indianapolis runs through 99.9. The Fan, driven by Strategic Tax Resolution, Fairway Green, and Wake Med.
It's not Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Tuesday. The very first Tuesday.
New scratch-off tickets are available on the first Tuesday of every month.
Announcer said first Tuesday.
Brand new scratch-offs, brand new fun. Now from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Every first Tuesday. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-960-3377. That's 800-960-3377. 800-960-3377.
You pull up at a McDonald's drive-thru at the crack of dawn to get your $3 crispy chicken biscuit. You've been craving it all night. It was a very long night, but your taste buds pulled through. Those are no ordinary taste buds, and you are no ordinary human. You are a champion, and you deserve a $3 crispy chicken biscuit. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. All right, we will. We already got to follow up on something from earlier today, Dennis.
Go on.
So Dan Morgan is out at the NFL scouting combine, as you know, every GM, head coach pretty much is.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier today, we talked about a tweet from Adam Schefter that said the Panthers have been getting calls about Andy Dalton.
Sure, backup quarterback.
So, meaning trade calls. That's what getting calls means.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like a fine line here where maybe the calls were made, they were getting calls and weren't answered or something along those lines. But Dan Morgan did tell Pat McAfee out at the Combine, and I have the quote here, Andy Dalton is a really good player and he's a great guy. I haven't talked to any teams about a trade, but if the possibility did come up, I would talk to Andy. So maybe calls weren't made, or maybe they were made, they weren't answered, they were made to somebody other than the GM. But just, before you start, hitting those NFL trade calculators online, trying to figure out how many picks and what players you can get for Andy Dalton, Dan Morgan has not had those conversations.
Again, he said, I didn't have those conversations.
Exactly.
He didn't say we haven't had those conversations.
Could have called somebody else.
Sir, as you stenographer, if you can please go look. I did not perjure myself.
I was not in the room, or I was there and just being quiet in the corner while somebody else talked. There is, like I said, there's little ways you can get out of the truth, I guess. But he said he hasn't had any conversations about it. So just a little update there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Without further ado, let's get to cons and cons.
But to play great defense, you need one thing above all else.
That starts with a W.
Confidence.
We're going to roll through some ACC basketball cons and cons. What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about for the three teams in the triangle? And then we will get to first goal scorer predictions for the Carolina Hurricanes. So be ready. We'll give you that phone number to call in a second. Dennis, which school are we rolling with first?
Let's go in order of ACC basketball rankings. We're just going to go straight down the rankings. So that would be Duke number 1. Let's go Duke first.
As always, I've got good news and bad news. Which do you want first? You always take the bad news. Start with concerns. Dennis, what's your concern for Duke?
It hasn't changed. It's consistency with their outside shooting. I think if they get into a game where there's another team that's shooting hot from the outside, can Duke keep up with that? Because Duke's defense as a whole is fantastic, but sometimes there's just that one game, another team just starts hitting, and it just they're like 5 steps behind the arc, and they're still knocking them down. You're like, okay, hold on, wait a second here. This isn't normal. That abnormal game, it can happen. I'm concerned that Duke can't keep pace in a game like that on a consistent basis. That's still my concern. Outside shooting, consistent outside shooting.
My concern might be a little more abstract.
Sure.
I'm concerned they're peaking too early.
Okay.
And right now is the best basketball that they're going to play all year.
I had a feeling you'd say that.
Because it's really good over the last 3. Really good. And if they play as well as they have the last 3 the rest of the way, and or better if they improve, you start getting into some rare air. And it's just, if you're going to bet on a team to be one of the best of all time, that's probably usually not a great bet because it doesn't happen that often. So just a little early. Might be playing their best basketball a little early. That's also a nitpick. They're playing really good right now. What a concern. But, yeah, concerning. What's your confidence?
My confidence when it comes to Duke basketball right now, they dominate the paint. Both sides of the ball, they dominate the paint. They out-rebound teams consistently by 10, 12, 13. They consistently do that. They beat you in the paint, and it's hard for other teams to get paint touches and clean looks from moving the ball that way. Other teams just struggle with it. So they dominate the paint. That's my confidence for Duke.
My confidence is actually very similar to my concern.
Oh, okay.
As of late, it feels like their ceiling matches their floor. I've been very high on their floor, and it's kind of Cambuser-like, right? Hey, if he's going to give you 18 and 10, that's just that. How many more other than that, or he's going to give you 18 and 9? How many more? That's the question, but that's his floor. Recently, it's looked like, they could also catch fire, right? Their ceiling is exceptionally high. It's not just a high floor. Against that, granted, it was Notre Dame, but against Notre Dame, Boozer could have had 40 and 25. He was on that kind of pace until they called off the dogs and kind of coasted in, which we hadn't really seen from Boozer. Boozer had a couple 30s, right? 34, but he hadn't poured in the A.J. DeBonsa 43, right? He hadn't gone true supernova. He could have there. So just ceiling matching the floor is what I'm getting at. What team are we going to next?
Next in the rankings in the ACC is NC State.
All right, what are you concerned about for NC State?
It's funny how you mentioned ceiling and floor. My concern for NC State is that there's so much volatility in their game. Their ceiling is extremely high. I still say that the fact that if they are playing at their best, I would not be shocked if they're playing in the Elite Eight. I honestly, truly believe that. But also because of how low their floor is, I would not be shocked if they get bounced weekend one in the NCAA tournament. Would not be surprised at all.
So there's a new episode of Pack Therapy, the podcast I host with Max Gorin out today, and I talked about this. My concern is inconsistency as well. I think they just kind of have to hope that they have a good day in the biggest games. Like the first weekend of the NCAA tournament, if they have just a good weekend, the good version of them, they're hitting shots, shows up, I think they could beat darn near anybody. And the opposite is true too. If they show up like they played against Louisville, if they showed up like they played against Virginia, if they showed up like they played at the end against Miami, like they could go home in round one and not be competitive in that game. And I like you want to control your own destiny. You don't just want to like hope that good you shows up. But I think they might, unless they change a little bit here in the next couple of weeks, I think they might just be hoping. And hope's a pretty brutal strategy because you can't really work hard on. I hope it comes true. Hey, we're gonna practice making our hopes and dreams come true. It's like, I don't know, get more coins, go to a wishing well. I don't know what else to do. What are you confident in for State?
When they're hitting from three, ain't no one stopping them.
Big part of it.
That's it. My confidence for them is that they shoot at a high level as a whole. Again, you're going to have down days, and that kind of goes into my concern is that if they're not shooting at a high clip, I'm extremely concerned about what their secondary option is in that regard, but it's their shooting as a whole. They shoot the best out of any school in the ACC just about.
My confidence is that Will Wade is going to keep trying to motivate.
That's true.
He's going to keep sending up flares at the post-game press conference. He's going to keep calling his team out. He's going to keep I think he is a pretty ferocious competitor. And even in like a post-game presser like he had against Virginia where he was like, they were better than us. And then he said that a bunch more different ways. I still think it was intentional. I think he was sending a message. I think he was coaching through the media. Whether it works or not, we'll have to wait and see. But he's going to keep trying, which I respect. And that leaves us with Carolina.
That's right.
The Tar Heels. Last thing here before first goal scorer predictions. Dennis, what are you concerned about for the Tar Heels?
My concern, I was at the Louisville game watching that up there in press row. And just seeing some other games this season, I feel like they let teams hang around.
Can't make free throws.
Well, not making free throws, but also there have been some stretches where they struggle rebounding the basketball. And that's actually where when Louisville was controlling the parts of the game, it's because rebounding, and Hubert Davis himself even said it, but also when Carolina was playing their best, they were rebounding the basketball quite well. But I would say as a whole, I feel like Carolina sometimes lets teams hang around a little bit. And I don't know if that's going to be a recipe for success when you get into the NCAA tournament and it's a Sweet 16 game. And when you're up 56-40 on a team in the second half and you need to bury them, you need to bury them.
My concern for UNC is guard play. And I know that this past game it worked because Trimble had 30. But it can't just be Seth Trimble has 30, so we're okay. Because he's not going to average 30. He's not going to score near 30 in a lot of games. That's not his game, right? There will be days where he wakes up and the basket looks like a hula hoop, and he will score 30. But those can't be the only days where your guard play is good enough to carry their slack. And I'm talking mostly about efficiency scoring, right? It can't take you 12 shots to get 12 points, right? You got to get to the free throw line. You got to knock down some threes. You got to shoot a high percentage. And for the most part, in the games where they've struggled, their guard play efficiency has struggled. And that's going to be my concern until something changes. All right, let's get to the fun part. Last one. Confidence for Carolina.
Caleb Wilson's coming back. That's it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Vasar and those two together, I mean, don't get me wrong. But when that guy's out there, it's noticeable difference.
Mine is the win versus Louisville without Caleb Wilson.
Good point.
Because Louisville's not the Monstars, right? They're not the biggest, baddest team in the world. But they're pretty good, right? Their net rankings really respect them. They were ranked, and we'll see if they still are on Monday. But Carolina won, and they didn't have their best player. I think that's good for everybody else's kind of thoughts on Carolina. They're going to go, wow, they're actually better than I thought. They beat that team without Caleb Wilson. It's almost like without Caleb Wilson is either almost a whine or it's almost a flex, right? NC State smoked Carolina without Caleb Wilson. And then it's like UNC beat Louisville without Caleb Wilson, right? It's like it's a whine in some cases and it's a flex in others. Beating Louisville without Caleb Wilson is a flex. Like, that is a real, legitimate resume-building win. Now you have to play that well, and, Seth Trimble 30 helps, but you have to find a way to be that good and add Caleb Wilson if you want to go on, a run into the postseason. So there you go. That's Cons and Cons here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. We are getting ready to open up the phone lines, but first, Canes, Carolina Hurricanes, that is, versus Tampa Bay, opening up the last 25-game stretch, the post-Olympic break stretch of their schedule. Tonight, at home at the Lenovo Center, 7 p.m., Stormwatch at 6:30 p.m. This is your, not including postseason, right? Because obviously postseason games are also on the agenda. But this is your 10th to last opportunity to watch them at home. This is your 10th. They only have 10 more home games after this single-digit home games, right? This version, I always, and this is becoming more and more true in college, but every season is a little different. Every season, guys, change. Even if it's just the end of the roster, it's a different vibe. It's a different beast. So if you want to see this year's Canes team, there's only 10 more chances. One of them tonight, Tampa, 7 p.m., Lenovo Center. You can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan.
It's wild that we're less than 2 months away from the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, we're a week and a day from the trade deadline. Like, we're past the Olympics. We're cruising. It's darn near crunch time. But with that being said, we have, I don't even know how many, because we do first goal scorer predictions on days where we have a show and there is a game. So it's less than 25 because they have weekend games. We only have so many more chances for you to prove hockey. Canes hockey. And the way you do that is call in now with your first goal scorer predictions. You need to know who's going to score or predict who's going to score the first goal and in what period you think they will score it. So go ahead and call in now, 919-860-5326. 919-860-5326. We'll take a few of you on the call-in line while Dennis lines those up. I'll let you know who everyone at 99.9 The Fan is predicting. Paul, the host of Next Up with Paul Ihander, weekday mornings here on 99.9 The Fan, has Andrei Svechnikov after a nice break for him in the first. The producer of Next Up, Max Gorin. Jordan Stahl in the first on the power play. Adam Gold, who will be hosting Stormwatch with Adam Gold ahead of the Canes game today. Nikolai Ehlers off a run as one of the best players for Denmark in the Olympics in the first on the power play. Victoria, the producer of the Adam Gold Show. Stahl as well in the first. She says not in the first 10 minutes, so in the back half of the first period. We'll get to Dennis and my pick in a second, but for now, we go to the call-in line where we have Taylor and Holly Springs lined up first. Taylor, welcome to the show. Who scores the first goal and in what period?
I think it's going to be Mr. Denmark. Give me Ehlers in the first period.
I like that, Mr. Denmark. Any other details you'd like to add?
I just think he's going to come out strong after the Olympics. That's all.
All right, strong and buzzing for Nikolai Ehlers. Taylor, we appreciate it. You are locked in.
It's funny she said Freddie. Mr. Denmark.
Mr. Denmark, Freddie Anderson. You probably get good odds on that. Brian in Holly Springs is up next. Brian, welcome to the show. Go ahead and let us know who the first goal scorer is in your prediction.
I'm going to go with Aho. It's going to happen in the first period. It's going to happen in the first 5 minutes, but it'll be even strength 5-on-5.
First 5 minutes, even strength. You are locked in. That would get the place rocking real quick. Appreciate it, Brian, and good luck to you. And another Brian. We have Brian in Wake Forest up next. Brian in Wake. Who scores the first goal for the Carolina Hurricanes and in what period?
So I got Jarvis in the first, and I got it actually as a shorthanded goal in the power play.
All right. We have a house rule that if you pick a shorthanded goal, you need to tell us who is in the box.
Tell us the box.
So who's in the penalty box that makes it shorthanded for the Canes?
Oh, gotcha. Oh, let's go with Spetch.
It's classic. Right, just the classic. Appreciate it, Brian. Good luck to you, and we'll see if it works. It's so funny. I would say people that know our house rule on shorthanded goals are more creative because they see it coming. People we put on the spot where we're like, house rule, who's in the box? Almost always go, Svetch. Because it's ingrained in your Canes fandom that Svetch is in the box. And it's a wild penalty. Why did he take it? Although he hasn't been doing that as much recently, so shout out to Svetch.
Online we have from Coffin Flops. This is a great name. Coffin Flops.
All right, that's embellishing.
Yeah, Coffin Flops. Logan Stankoven on a deflection in the first period.
Hey, that would be – sometimes if a player's on like a big drought or something, you see fans try to will it into existence with their first goal scorer predictions. I don't think that happens. Like they're all fresh coming off a break. But I do think Stankoven would be like, nice, get it started. It would just be a real good vibe going into it.
Comebread said Mr. Svechnikov in the first period. Willis Honeycutt says Aho in the first. He continues his momentum from the Olympics. Tom Hunsberger says Jackson Blake in the first period. We also have Rodney says Nikolai Ehlers early in the first period, first goal scorer as well. We also have from Colt. Colt says I have Jarvis in the first period. So yeah.
All right. So Dennis, who do you have and what period?
Give me the birthday boy, Logan Stankoven.
Stanky.
It's his birthday boy. Turns 23. It's his Michael Jordan year. He kicks it off with a bang. Not only does he get one, he gets two today. 2 goals for Logan Stankoven, but he gets the first one in the first period.
All right, 2 goals.
Yes.
I like that. And it is his birthday. That's actually true.
I know.
Turning 23, which is a good reminder that a lot of these guys are really young, and you would expect them to get better for at least a handful of years moving forward. My first goal scorer prediction, I'm also going with Sebastian Aho in the first. But even though I've talked all about like how I'm excited for him to take what he gained at the Olympics and implement it into the Canes, it's not that reason. Do you know what the reason is?
What's that?
He got to sleep in today.
That's true. He did.
He got to sleep in today. They had morning skate, and he was not there. And the justification was, he's a bit run down, so we told him to sleep in. He has a small child, and as someone that also has a small child, my daughter just turned 1 earlier this month. Getting that extra couple hours, man, you will feel like a superhero. You will be ready to rock. And I'm sure over in the Olympic villages and things, sleep was not exactly what you're used to, being in the dorms. Couple extra hours, he's going to come out buzzing.
Plus all the time travel, just not time travel, but time zone changes. Yeah,
imagine that. All the time travel, like the switching time zones is what I took that as, but time travel would be hilarious.
Time travel would be awesome.
Time travel, he'd go back and make sure Finland holds on to that 2-0 lead over Canada.
Right? I know where Marner's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You can continue to send in your first goal scorer predictions on our YouTube live stream comments.
Did you give yours?
I said Aho.
Aho, okay.
With extra sleep.
That's right.
Early, too. I don't know if it's first 5 minutes, but it's first 10 for sure. Yeah, it's Aho. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. As I was saying, you can jump into our YouTube live stream comments on 99.9 The Fan's the channel on YouTube, and let us know your first goal scorer predictions. Just has to be the player that you think will score the first goal and the period that you think it will be scored. So send all of those in, and we'll let you know if you get it right. You can also just watch the game and know if you got it right. There you go. It's like we're the only ones that get to watch the game. We will tell you what happens. That's not how it works. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. If we could time travel, if we could tell you what was going to happen, we would. And I would use that to make sure everybody gets the lowest mortgage rate possible, right? I'd tell you back in whatever it was, 2020, 2021, lock in your mortgage now. Unfortunately, I can't time travel, and I can't tell you what's going to happen. But what I can tell you is Miller Lending wants to make it so you can take advantage of a volatile market. And by the way, rates just dropped to their lowest in 4 years. The rates just dropped to their lowest in 4 years. We might be there now. We might be a half point of drop away from where you should be calling Miller Lending and trying to refinance and potentially lowering your monthly payment. And doing so without closing costs, right? If closing costs have been stopping you from buying or refinancing your home, don't let that stop you. Go call Miller Lending and ask about their no-cost loan. All right? They'll know what that means. Give them a call, 919-447-3333. 3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that is millerlending.com. We'll take a break, but coming up, I don't know why I do that occasionally. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. Peek behind the curtain there. I read that live every time. That is not a recording. I just read it quick. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. We'll be back after this with a feedback frenzy. Don't go anywhere.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Olympics are over. Jacob Slavin's a gold medal winner. Sebastian Aho won a bronze. Seth Jarvis won a silver. And now it's about the business of finishing this. The day job for Jarvis and Slavin and Aho. It's about winning the Stanley Cup. 25 games, 49 days. It is a gauntlet between now and the end of the season and the start of the playoffs.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
With the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can.
It's bow time.
There's bow time, and then there's Bojangler time. You heard right. The Bojangler fish fillet sandwich is back for limited time at participating Bojangles. A light, flaky, perfectly seasoned fish fillet with lettuce, cheese, and tartar sauce tucked inside a bun. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Life's great stories are built on yes and. Yes to the big game and the private suite. Yes to the beach and sailing offshore. Yes to traveling the country and exploring new ones. With the new Millionaire for Life from the North Carolina Education Lottery, you can say yes to $1 million now and every year for a lifetime. Millionaire for Life. Winning is just the beginning. Drawing 7 days a week. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 8.47. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
This hour of The Drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. You know what time it is, everybody. A few times a week, but definitely every Thursday at 4:45. Dennis actually does this a little bit ahead of time, but we learn about it at about this time. Dennis goes onto the internet. He looks up the feedback from all of you, whether it's on our YouTube comments, on conversations we've had, or social media, or wherever else he can find it. And he brings the best, his favorite, the most provocative, the most thought-provoking comments from all of you. Brings them onto the show and we react in real time. Dennis, what are you bringing to the table today? It's called the Feedback Frenzy, by the way.
All right, we actually had a conversation a little bit earlier about the Carolina Hurricanes and potential trade targets, including how expensive would it be if the Carolina Hurricanes were trying to acquire a guy like Robert Thomas, the center from the St. Louis Blues. Hot commodity. This one comes from Thomas DeMay. Thomas says this: yes, Robert Thomas would be perfect, but we better not give up Nikishin or any of our core guys to do it.
That's, by the way, I don't think they should give up Nikishin. So just let me plant a flag on a side that will keep you all from going nuts.
But if I'm St. Louis, I'm asking for him.
Yes. But I do want to acknowledge that, like, this isn't NHL video games, right? It's not some computer on the other side that is also not trying to, like, that is not trying to win a cup, right? They're trying to set their team up as well. So traditionally, to get something of value, you have to give something of value. To get something of significant value, you have to give something of significant value. So if I don't have to be the one to actually make it happen, yeah, I want a all-star coming back, and I don't want to give up any core player or any key piece of our future. The realistic possibilities of that maybe aren't that realistic or possible.
Well, another listener, Colt, along the same line, says this. Robert Thomas will be a great improvement at the center position. Aho, Stahl, and Thomas at center, that's a 1-2-3 punch. If they could do it with trading Bradley Nadeau and a couple first-rounders, I would rejoice. I don't want to lose Nikisha and hope we can make it happen without him involved.
Okay, so in any trading market, and I've only been in a couple, right? Like when you're trying to, buy a car, sports cards, fantasy football. I do think there's one of two ways to look at like a guy or a thing or something of value. Either you way overvalue it or you way undervalue it. Bradley Nadeau is that for Carolina Hurricanes fans. People either think everyone else would be so lucky for us to include Bradley Nadeau in this trade. It would be unbelievable if they could receive Bradley Nadeau in a trade. Or there's others that are like, he's small. I don't know. He's never going to make it. I don't know if Bradley Nadeau could be the centerpiece of a trade to bring back Robert Thomas. And I like Bradley Nadeau, right? I've been a fan of his AHL prospect team. I think they need more cold-blooded assassin scorers on the Canes, and he comes from that mold. But I mean, it's difficult to sell another team on, hey, give us your tree, I will give you these seeds, right? It's more difficult. A lot of times they if they're selling a tree, they want a tree back. You know what I mean? They want something that's proven.
All right, let's actually go shift gears here over to low college basketball. We saw earlier this week NC State men's basketball get shellacked by UVA. This one comes from Donald Bass. Will Wade, head coach of NC State, Will Wade never said that he would win the ACC year one, but he did say finish in the top four and make the NCAAs. Both things are likely as of today. Now, do we, NC State, need a real modern big or two? For sure. UVA, Virginia, has 3 of them from Europe, one of which is 23, 24 years old? There's the lesson. European bigs grow up shooting the three and playing down low. I was hoping that Musa was going to fit in that gap, but nope, he has weak hands. The doors aren't falling off. You just can't coach size.
I don't know if this is what they were reacting to, but in case, I want to be clear. I'm completely aware that they are still mathematically in the running for being a top 4 team and completing the promise that he had during those intro press conferences. But he, after the Virginia game, said, and I have the quote here in front of me, "We're not ready to compete with the top of the league right now. That's just a fact." So the reaction of like, oh, this was the goal and here's where they stand was mostly because he said point blank, like, hey, that goal that I set, we're not capable of doing right now. That's what I was reacting to there. But I don't know what, I don't think necessarily the commenter was directly reacting to that. I do think Europe is going to be a more and more hotly recruited area, especially because you're seeing, like, once you sign an NBA two-way contract, you can't go back to college. Once you put your name in the draft in the NBA, you can't go back to college. Some of these Europeans have been playing professional basketball for 4 years, and they're allowed to go to college. It's probably a loopholed rule, but yeah, if you can get a freshman at 23 years old that has been playing against grown men for a decent amount of years, and you can get them for 4 years at your school, or at least a couple, there's value there. So I would expect a lot of schools to be going over there, and then it'll just become more competitive, and the talent will disperse.
All right. This one, I'm assuming is a UNC fan in the comments here of this NC State discussion, because Ron Odell says, yes, NC State beat North Carolina, but if they played in Chapel Hill with Caleb Wilson and Henry Vasar, I will put my money on UNC. I hope they meet again. I do hope they meet again, both at full strength.
So do I. I hope they meet again as well. The only thing I would
ACC.
The only thing I would caution there is you were flirting with Notre Dame football territory there, where you're just claiming wins that are make-believe. If they would play, this is what the spread would be. It's like, well, they did play, and yeah, a couple guys were hurt. That's the luck of the draw. You don't go full Notre Dame on me. Don't go full SEC. We would have. Shoulda, woulda, coulda don't actually mean anything in sports. They keep scoreboards for that. They weren't there, but they were flirting with it. Just a little warning.
All right. Speaking of Virginia basketball, they actually play Duke this coming weekend, and this one comes from Shorty. Shorty says this. This is on the conversation that we had yesterday about Duke just absolutely dismantling Notre Dame basketball. Again, a shorthanded Notre Dame team, but destroying them nonetheless. Shorty says this. The game on Saturday with the Who's, Virginia, decides the regular season championship. Virginia is a really, really good team, so hopefully Duke does not overlook UVA.
Oh, gosh. I mean, if they overlook UVA, that's not they
got bigger problems.
That'd be a horrendous oversight. Yeah. UVA is not only good, the stakes, you just brought it up, right? They're championships on, their regular season championships on the line in a conference where that still matters. UVA is 25-3. If you overlook a 25-3 second team in your conference, bigger issues are on the horizon than just oh, what a bummer you lost a game. These are the games you go to Duke for. These are the games you go to a top-level ACC school to play. You don't put in all the work it takes to put yourself in that situation to go, when are we playing UNC at home? You don't do that. Duke's 26-2. Virginia's 25-3.
Mm-hmm.
If Duke loses, they're both 26-3.
Yeah.
That's
both with the same conference record.
Probably all you need to know there to say if you overlook anything. If they play bad, it's not because they overlooked them. That's what I'll say. If they play bad, it's hat tip to Virginia. They made them play bad.
John Sawyer goes, hey, guys, we win Saturday. We're ACC regular season champs. Do you need any more motivation? No? Okay.
And one step closer to being the number one overall seed and the top seed in the ACC tournament and all of these other things.
All right, this one along the same conversation of Duke. Enijah Roundtree says this. Duke is the number one defense in the country and the number 7 in offense. They're only going to get better.
Well, we don't guarantee improvement. And also 7th in offense, it depends what metric you're looking at, right? So trust me, they're very, very good. I'm not here to say that Duke team, not that good. I'm here to say as good as their offense is, Dennis brought up earlier, they don't shoot the 3 particularly well. They are maybe thin at certain positions. They're not a flawless team, but I also want to point out there are no flawless teams, at least none that I've watched in college basketball. So it's not a huge insult to say they aren't perfect. That's just facts of life.
I mean, they have everything they need to make a Final Four run again.
Oh, and then some.
And then win it.
There's multiple different paths for them to make it to the Final Four, right? They can make it to the Final Four with Isaiah Evans shooting well. If he goes quiet, but somebody else, they have other, Dame Sarr opens up his offensive game, or Caden Boozer off the bench averages 14 a game. They have multiple paths to the Final Four. It's just a matter of if they can find one.
All right, real quick, last one here. We had a conversation yesterday. Dave Canales announced, the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, that offensive coordinator Brad Idzik is going to take over as play caller this upcoming season. This one comes from Danger Zone with a Z, which makes sense because that's how you spell zone. Danger Zone says this. Danger Zone says, without his shortcomings being hidden with the play calling, we're going to see real quick if Bryce Young has what it takes.
Okay, I forget his name. Somebody, actually, I can look it up. I don't know if actually, they DM'd me, so I don't know if they want it public.
Okay.
Somebody sent a real conspiracy theory about Brad Idzik taking over. So, this person on Twitter basically said they're changing the play caller, setting themselves up to be able to move on from Bryce next offseason. So the reason why they're changing the play caller is so next offseason, nobody can say, it's been Dave's play calling holding him back. He deserves another chance. They are trying to, intentionally almost, trying to make Bryce not play well in a new situation so they can say, see, we changed the situation and he's still not playing that great. Can we finally move on from him?
I'll be honest, I had that same thought.
That they're setting him up?
I wouldn't say they're setting him up, but now there's no excuse for Bryce.
My literal follow-up was, you think it's a setup? And the response was, yes, indeed.
I like it. I like it. Tinfoil hat theory today. Let's go.
I don't know. I don't think so. I would imagine that coaches want to win rather than want to set themselves up to move on from their quarterback next offseason. But I guess crazier things have happened. It's such good music for conspiracy theories. Do you know that birds are robots and they're monitoring us?
Yes.
They're satellites. Think about it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I don't actually believe that. Just to get ahead of it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is a feedback frenzy. Appreciate everybody that interacts with the show online. Please follow us on all social medias. Search 99.9 The Fan. And, of course, subscribe on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. We will be back with not conspiracy theories, actual theories, organized in a set of 5. We call it the starting 5. Next.
Tonight, your forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Stankoven with a shot. He scores! Logan Stankoven. And for the first time in this series, the Canes have a lead.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Svechnikov hands it off. Empty net. Bingo! Sebastian Aho!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Hello, I'm John Heister for John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay Varina. And you know, people are asking us, how are you selling so many cars all of a sudden? Well, did you know that the Beltline has opened up the outer loop? We're only 28 minutes from Knightdale. We're only 19 minutes from Clayton and 15 minutes from Apex. We're now the most convenient Chevrolet dealership to reach in the Triangle. It's just one more reason to get off your keister and come to Heister.
Now at John Heister Chevrolet, get $4,000 off a new 26 Traverse or 26 Equinox. See dealer for details. Together, let's drive.
A family office is a team built to handle the 3 biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm, under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today.
919-205-9800. That's 919-205-9800.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Jeff's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination, where Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Jeff is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Richie Law is on top of it. Go to RichieLaw.com.
That's RichieLaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. The rain will become more spotty throughout the evening hours, but it's still cloudy and cool, a low of 44 tonight. For Friday, a small chance for rain, but cloudy and cool with a high of 54. Luckily, sunny and warmer weather returns by Saturday.
Weather update brought to you by Blue Shark Vodka, the world's smoothest vodka. Pour Blue Shark Vodka at all your events to lift everyone's spirits. Blue Shark Vodka, the shark that doesn't bite. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 17 points today to 49,499. This hour is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call Law Tigers at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, everybody, tonight, Carolina Hurricanes are back.
Let's go.
And not only are they back in the Lenovo Center, back on game ice, back playing NHL hockey, they're back on 99.9 The Fan, where you can hear all their games. 7 o'clock puck drop between the Canes and Lightning. 6:30 Storm Watch with Adam Gold. He'll take you right up to game time. Mike Maniscalco and the crew. Trip Tracy will give you the action right here on 99.9. With that being said, it is time for the starting five. Brought to you by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RichieLaw.com. That's RICCI Law.com. As always, the starting five starts with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Bruh. Wake Forest men's basketball. What are you doing? Bruh. Not a lot of ACC basketball action last night, but there was a Wake Forest at Boston College game because they had to reschedule it from Tuesday due to the weather up there in the Northeast, and they pushed it back to Wednesday. I'm not 100% sure they told Wake Forest. They're like, we played this game yesterday. We were ready yesterday. Wake lost to Boston College 68-67. Boston College, according to net rankings, right, trying to take opinion out of it, is the second worst team in the ACC. They are 156th in the net rankings. Wake Forest, 68th. But there's two things that make this one probably a little bit more sour. One, they just made it known through insiders that Steve Forbes, their head coach, his job is safe going into next year. Right? It's usually when you make that known, you want the next thing to do to be like a confirmation, right? And I'm not saying it's the wrong decision. I like Steve Forbes. I think he should stick around. But once you make that kind of decision and make it public, you want the next game to be like a 15-point win and go, see, told you. And then also the other thing that's frustrating, they lost 68-67. Juke Harris scored 38 points for Wake Forest. One player had a wildly efficient 38 on 19 shots. He made 12 of them. He took 12 threes. He made 6 of them. Tossed in 6 rebounds. Juke Harris did, who's putting together a really good statistical season. And the rest of the team couldn't come up with 30 points. He scored 38. If everybody else combined for 30, they're tied going to overtime. He scored 38. They can only come up with 29. That's a real bummer.
Guys, I did my part.
I actually did most of your part, half of your part.
Yeah.
And the rest of y'all couldn't combine just to do your 2 parts. Like, he did a lot. You know, we talked about this earlier, and at times for Carolina it felt this way, right? Like they're going to have these great seasons from Caleb Wilson and Henry Vesar, and because the backcourt wasn't at the time ready to pick up their kind of pull their weight, it was like, geez, they're going to look back and really feel like they wasted some of this. Wake Forest is definitely going to feel like they wasted a Juke Harris season. And I don't know if he'll get the love as far as individual accolades that he probably should because it's so hard to do on a team that just isn't winning enough. But he's averaging 21.7 points, 6.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, and is also shooting over 46% overall from the field. That's a season for Juke. And Wake Forest is sitting there at 14-14 on the year and pretty rough in conference play. Come on, Wake. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 all together.
So here's the deal, everybody. Gunnar Rivers committed to NC State. This is Phillip Rivers' son, football player from Alabama, class of 2027 high school recruiting class. He had been on pretty much all recruiting websites a top 300 recruit in the country, one of the top 15 to 20 quarterbacks. He commits to State, and I, like many, go, all right, let's see what a big recruit that is coming to the area. You click on it, and on all the composite sites, all the ones that average the recruiting rankings from multiple sites, he had dropped a ton. And it felt, timing-wise, that he committed, thus the rankings dropped. Earlier today, we had on Luke Stampini, who is the executive editor of On3 and Rivals, the site where his ranking dropped, thus affecting all the industry average rankings. And he confirmed with us that the Gunnar Rivers ranking that tumbled had been in play for about 2 weeks prior to the commitment, right? They update it the same time every year, the same kind of Monday on the calendar every year. So it wasn't a case of, as he told us, and you can go listen to the complete interview on YouTube, of, oh, this guy commits to NC State, we're going to lower his ranking because he commits to NC State. Now, in the discovery, or in the research of that, I did discover some trends about ACC recruits. And I questioned Luke Stampini on a bunch of that. And basically, I'll give you this. They had a top 300 that came out in October. They updated it earlier this week. Nearly 100%. If you were a player that committed to the ACC or had committed prior to either of these rankings to an ACC school, your ranking dropped in some cases considerably. And if you were committed to a school from another power conference, your ranking didn't drop as much. It felt, and the statistics show, it's significant, right? 84.6% of ACC recruits that were committed to an ACC school in the most recent top 300 saw their rankings go down on On3 Rivals rankings. Compared to, for example, the SEC, only 43.3% went down. I questioned him on it. He assured us that they do not look at commitments. They do not look at what conference you're going to when they do their rankings. So he didn't really have an explanation for why it had broken that way, other than his guess was if you look at the next update or previous updates, there'd be different schools and different conferences that feel they're being targeted, and kind of a coincidence. But again, if you want to hear it directly from Rivals/On3 executive editor Luke Stampini, it's on our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan.
And the Best of the Drive podcast.
And on the Best of the Drive pod. There you go. Pass it around to your friends. I still have more information. I may reach out to them again because I have more questions I need answered.
Also the 99.9 The Fan app.
Also the 99.9 The Fan app. For free, by the way. That is a free app.
All free, people.
All free. Which, by the way, when you're trying to research recruiting rankings, a lot of paywalls.
Yep.
A lot of, I'm tracing this string. I'd like to know. I'm not. Do I want to pay X amount of dollars to just get this one stat from 2 years ago? Probably not. It's a real bummer.
Can you expense that?
Yeah. How many subscriptions am I allowed to expense? That is, again, check it out. All those places we said, YouTube, app, podcast. There you go. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3. Shout out to Nicole Auerbach of ESPN, just because she's the one that passed along some NCAA news to the college football listenership as a whole. The NCAA and the Football Bowl Subdivision Oversight Committee have proposed the following penalties for schools that add football players who did not enter the transfer portal during the designated window. Meaning, you didn't put your name in the transfer portal during the portal window, which is 2 weeks after, 2 weeks in like January, whatever that is. I guess the thought being that players could just, as every student can, withdraw from a school, enroll in another, and then apply to join an extracurricular activity like a varsity sport.
Yeah.
If that were to happen, the Football Bowl Subdivision Oversight Committee is proposing that the head coach of the school where the player enrolls and plays would be prohibited from all football, that's recruiting and on-field coaching, as well as administrative duties, meaning team meetings, through the 6th contest of the season. So they'd be suspended from everything for 6 games. The school would also be fined 20% of its football budget, which is gargantuan, and the school would be required to reduce the number of roster spots on their team by 5 for the next season, regardless of the head coach's employment status at the school. So even if they fire the coach, they still got to roll with 5 less players. This goes into the category of, let me think of an analogy. When your friend says, like, if I win the lottery, I'm buying you a house.
All right.
I'm like, that's a great thought. I'm not going to go on Zillow right now. You know what I mean? It's like, I love the idea of cracking down on tampering and trying to make it so transfers aren't as wild west-y as it has been. But I don't think the NCAA can enforce this.
No, I don't see how at all.
I wish those punishments were enforceable. I wish you could buy me a house. I don't think you're going to win the lottery.
No, I won't.
I don't think they're going to be able to enforce this.
And if I won, trust me, you wouldn't know. But here's the thing.
There'd be signs.
There would be signs, though. But here's the thing. For example, let's say there's a player that's at NC State. All right,
yep.
An NC State player after this spring semester says, I want to leave school. Mm-hmm. They unenroll at NC State, they get their transcripts, and then they apply to go to school at UNC. And UNC accepts them, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then Bill Belichick and the coaching staff say, hey, we're going to offer the ability and opportunity for someone to walk on. And that person goes and tries out. Hey, you're actually really good. Let's actually give you a scholarship. The NCAA says, no, you can't do that? Why not? I don't see how that holds up in court.
I'm just going to add a few thoughts here that make it more empathetic or make it more player friendly. A player is at NC State. I'm just picking a school. They have committed to they're a linebacker. They commit to a linebacker coach who is from their hometown. Right? Related to him, spoke the same language. Both of their jerseys are retired from the same high school. That linebacker coach, after the transfer portal window closes and the player only has 1 more year of eligibility left, that coach leaves for an NFL job. So now he's at a school without the person he committed to, only has 1 year of eligibility, and thinks, you know what, I would like to go play closer to home, because the only reason I left is because felt very homey there because of him. So I want to go play closer to home. I'm going to unenroll from this school. I'm going to withdraw. I'm going to enroll for summer classes at the next school, and I'll be there for all of summer workouts, playing training camp, get to play my last year closer to home. The NCAA is going to try to say, not only can you not do that, if you do, that head coach is suspended for six games from everything. They owe us 20% of their budget, and 5 less players on the roster. They're going to go to court, and the judge is going to take 2 seconds before saying, injunction, that player gets to play. You can't punish them until we decide on the ruling. That's not going to come till well after the year. He's going to play. Then everyone else is going to say president is set, and it's going to be the Wild Wild West again. I like the thought, though. Good on you, Football Bowl Subdivision Oversight Committee, for trying the good old-fashioned try. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us.
The NFL Combine is going on as we speak. Players are working out. It's some of the big boys, defensive tackles, edge rushers today, getting their workouts in. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But as we've been mentioning throughout the week, NFL Combine also an opportunity to get some insight into different teams. I'll just go with this one. Dan Morgan spoke with Pat McAfee, and he was asked about Ruben Bain, the edge rusher from Miami. Dan Morgan, he's not going to be there when we pick at 19. I love the open and shut nature of that. Like, I don't have to evaluate him. It's not my decision. Another thing that I think Panther fans will really enjoy hearing is Dan Morgan was asked about Anthony Richardson, right? Because Anthony Richardson earlier today, former number 4 overall pick of the Indianapolis Colts, picked a few picks after Bryce Young, was granted the opportunity, like his team said, you can go seek a trade. You can go look for trades, bring them to us, we'll see what happens. I guess Dan Morgan was asked about him, and he basically point blank said, we're not giving up picks. Which I respect the heck out of. Not because it wouldn't be kind of fascinating to have Anthony Richardson take a year and kind of catch his breath and be a developmental backup to a guy. I think he's still a wildly interesting physical talent, and you can have a package of plays that takes advantage of that. Like, imagine you need a tush push, and you take out the guy that's 5'10", and you put in Anthony Richardson.
Who's 6'4", 250, who gets hurt a lot.
Yeah, but if he gets hurt, who cares? He's the backup.
There's that.
But they don't want to give up picks. And I think that's very, very smart of the Carolina Panthers.
How about Andy Dalton straight up?
Andy Dalton
for Richardson straight up. Make it happen. Why not? Why not? The Colts need a quarterback who can play.
Colts roll with Andy Dalton for a few games until Daniel Jones is ready to roll after they give him $40 million a year.
See? And if you actually need a Hail Mary, you can throw in Anthony Richardson.
I don't think the Colts are excited to get rid of Anthony Richardson. I think they are willing to get rid of Anthony Richardson if he thinks he needs a new change of scenery.
Seems pretty mutual, though.
Yeah, but
Quarter reports.
More just like, I think it'd be good for everybody, but I don't think they're like, we'll take anything. What do you got?
Yeah, not going to dump him for nothing.
I had a couch like that. I had a couch that I had all through college. I mean, once you're living with your soon-to-be wife, that couch is gone, right? We had a yard sale. I think I paid like $20 for someone to take that couch just because I didn't want to take it to the dump. It's not that with Anthony Richardson. You're going to have to give me some cash. It won't be a lot, but you're going to have to give me something. I'll move the couch back to the living room. But
nap on that couch.
It was a great couch. I loved that couch. It was basically what I'm getting at here is I think the Panthers are correct to protect their picks, protect their developmental players. They should not, and they should do everything they can to avoid getting infatuated with the fact that they were in the playoffs last year and thinking that should accelerate their timeline. I still think they are in the stack rookie contracts portion of their build. Stack rookie contracts, get that cost-controlled, kind of rent-controlled idea of keep positions that are cheaper than league average because they're on those rookie contracts, and then maybe 2 years from now is where you might want to move them to get a veteran to finish off your build. But I don't think they're there yet. And not saying Anthony Richardson is like a finish off your build guy, but I do think backup quarterback is a luxury that rebuilding teams don't need to spend on. Unless you think you're going to win the Super Bowl next year, and if your quarterback gets hurt for a month, you need to win 2 of those to protect your seed in the playoffs. I don't think you need to spend on a backup much at all. Who cares if you go 0-4 without your quarterback? That's not really you. That's you without your quarterback. That's number 2. Let's jump to number 1.
Go one! Let's do that hockey.
Carolina Hurricanes back on the ice, game ice tonight, hosting Tampa.
Let's go.
Such a lonely clap. That's like you start the round of applause and nobody else comes with you.
You're like, yeah, what? Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. That's not what it's going to be at the Lenovo Center tonight.
No, definitely
Everybody will be using the last 3 weeks of built-up energy to go crazy. And I would imagine Jacob Slavin coming back with a Team USA gold medal is going to get a pretty good pop right when he's introduced. I imagine even like a Jake Gensel, who has a relationship with the Carolina Hurricanes. I think time has healed most of the wounds with him leaving the year at like the off season after being traded to the Canes.
Yeah.
And then a Team USA gold medal helps out a lot of that as well.
I think the Canes will do something to recognize all their Olympians.
I thought it was cool.
I think they'll do that
what
today.
Jack Hughes did with Tage Thompson.
Yeah.
Where Jack Hughes obviously was being celebrated with the Devils. He scored the game-winning goal in the gold medal game. So you know, and he was playing against Tage Thompson. So he skated over and was like, "You get out here with me. You take all these applause." And they kind of hugged each other while they took in those Team USA cheers.
Yeah, they did the ceremonial puck drop before the game, and it was Thompson and Hughes, which I thought was cool.
It was a cool moment. So, like, the USA, the cool stuff up until puck drop. Then, Gensel, you're an enemy again. And you just go from there. Let's hear from Slavin. Here's Slavin just on, we can enjoy the Team USA stuff forever and ever. But they become the enemy at puck drop. Jacob Slavin on what went through his mind during overtime of the gold medal game.
The game itself was awesome, so much fun. We definitely, as Rowdy likes to put it, we got stress game for a lot of it. And so Hellebuck played unbelievable. But going into overtime, I think I knew I probably wasn't going to get out there. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I did my job. PK was good. We didn't get scored on. If we have another PK, I'll be ready, but I don't think I'm going out there. So I guess the stress was off me a little bit. Stress got onto the other guys. But then, you see Jack Hughes' shot go in, and it's just like, oh, let's go. I mean, it's such a fun moment. I was telling some people, I think that's like the first real championship I've ever won and kind of in my life. I played maybe a couple of youth tournaments, a couple of baseball tournaments growing up you might have won, but like serious tournaments and championships, that was the first one. So just so much excitement. I think I lost my voice before the anthem was played, but it was just so fun. And so you see the shot go on, just relief, excitement, joy. The crowd goes nuts, family's going nuts in the stands, and so it was just so much fun. Emerson couldn't even watch overtime, I guess. She was a little too stressed out.
The only championship he's ever won. Dennis, I've played a ton of sports my entire life. I assume you have as well, 2 sports, 3 sports, whatever. Do you have a bunch of championships? Like league championships, not tournament championships. Do you have a bunch of like real championships?
I do. High school football won a
state?
No, we didn't win a state championship. Won a district championship. Lacrosse won a state championship in high school.
All right, that counts.
So won that my junior year, and then in football my freshman year in college, we did win our conference championship as well.
I guess if you count conference championships, then I've won a couple.
But state championship in lacrosse.
As far as like winning the last game of the season, it's for me. It's only happened once. I was 9 years old. I played in college. I did every sport. I was 9 years old playing baseball. It's the only like league championship I've ever won. Won tournaments and stuff, but I don't know if that really.
I was part of some conference championships in lacrosse coaching as well.
And I've always I'm not embarrassed by it, right? I think I was a pretty good athlete, but it is one of those things where I'm like, geez, I must be like, what a loser. But then Jacob Slavin took till the gold. He's in his 30s. If it took Jacob Slavin that long, then maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was.
I mean, do my beer league hockey championships count? Because I got a couple of those.
I think they count twice.
Okay, I have 2 of them. So yes,
they count
actually.
Twice.
Working on another.
I mean, I've won some men's leagues, but I don't know if that counts either. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis, I can't let you go without this. It's been a while. The Carolina Hurricanes are playing the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight. If blank happens, then the Canes start their last 25-game stretch post-Olympic break with a win over Tampa.
I think if Brandon Bussey has a save percentage of 9-10 or higher, so 91% or higher, they're winning. Because the season average is 9.09, if I remember correctly, or 9.08. So if he's right there at his average, Canes win.
All right. You heard it here first. We'll see. And we'll revisit that tomorrow to see if the mini goal, the if-then, was a good one. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We need numbers game contestants. Matt Rife, stand-up comedy. He's bringing his tour, his Stay Golden World Tour, to the Lenovo Center on March 15th. If you want to win a pair of tickets, you want to go laugh your tail off watching some stand-up comedy, you have to call in now and win the numbers game. It is that simple. The number to call is 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. For your chance to play the numbers game, potentially win the Matt Rife tickets. Call in now. 2 contestants. Numbers game next.
Tonight, your forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Stankoven with a shot. He scores! Logan Stankoven. And for the first time in this series, the Canes have a lead.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Svechnikov hands it off. Empty net. Bingo! Sebastian Aho!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
February is Heart Health Month, and I'm Tim Donnelly from 99.9 The Fan, joined today by Dr. Faisal Khan from Wake Med Heart and Vascular. Is there any type of warning sign that a person experiences before sudden cardiac arrest?
Well, if there is a history of murmurs, if there's a history of passing out and not knowing exactly what happened, if there's a history of sudden cardiac death in the family, or if you have an abnormal EKG, those could be indicators that you may have a problem with your heart. So make sure you talk to your doctor about if you have any of those things happen to you.
What are the warning signs for a heart attack?
So if you're getting more short of breath, you climb a flight of stairs and you're getting short of breath, you have tightness or sensation of books on your chest or heaviness on your chest. If you're having dizziness, those could be signs that you may have problems with the blood flow to your heart, which could lead to heart attacks. If you're not feeling well, don't sit at home. We see that too many times.
Act fast. Dr. Khan, appreciate you taking the time today.
My pleasure.
Go to wakemed.org to find a cardiologist near you or to learn more about your heart's health.
Tired of hearing this from your local tire place?
Sorry, we can't fix it. Take it to Dauntless.
This year, skip the middleman and take your car straight to Dauntless Transmissions if you want quality work done right the first time. Transmissions, engine, or brake work, or just a regular tune-up. If it's broke, Dauntless will fix it. For quality work done with the kind of experience that works for you, take it to Dauntless Transmissions first. Go to dauntlesstransmissions.com to book your visit today. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or price stopped, opt out.
Hey man, how did the date go?
I had to cancel. I don't get paid until Friday.
You didn't know that you can get up to a $750 paycheck advance with the current app?
Where was that information yesterday?
Just text them, see if you qualify. $750? Boom! And right now, they're offering a $75 bonus when you set up an eligible direct deposit.
Think I should call her back?
Yeah.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Hurry and receive an extra $75 sign-up bonus right now. Text WORTH to 323232. That's WORTH to 323232. WORTH to 323232.
Paycheck advance is offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com/radio or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. The prize for today, pair of tickets to see Matt Rife, stand-up comedy, his Stay Golden World Tour, coming to the Lenovo Center this March. Also, the Lenovo Center tonight, Canes against Tampa. Just a fun fact. Our two contestants for today are Joel in Durham and Malik in Raleigh. Joel and Durham and Malik in Raleigh will be competing with jersey number trivia for the tickets. As always, we'll bring them both onto the show and ask them the same question. Dennis will be our judge. He'll pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. We'll start with Joel in Durham. Joel, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, we're going to go old school here. It's one of our tried and true questions. If you were I'd say like a relief pitcher, or I guess a professional wrestler, or really anything in sports where there's an intro and you get to pick your music, you get to pick your song that you come out to, what song are you picking?
Rock You Like a Hurricane.
Rock You Like a Hurricane. All right. Dennis, any follow-ups? Nope. You are locked in. We'll see if he picks you. Let's go to Malik and Raleigh. Malik, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, same question to you. If you were a relief pitcher or a professional wrestler, something where you had to pick intro music in athletics, in sports, what song are you picking?
Okay, I don't know the exact name of this song, but
you can sing it.
Phillies, I don't know that either. The Phillies, the guy Stout, I think his name is, he hit the home run. It was in it was a grand slam actually. But anyway, his walk-up song, whatever that is, I can't remember what it is, but that song.
His name was Stout. Dennis, any follow-ups?
Yeah, what's the guy's name again?
On the Phillies, the Stout, S-T-O-T-T, I think his name is. But it was a big moment in the playoffs a couple years ago, and his walk-up song, and then he hit the grand slam like as soon as his walk-up music ended.
All right, his unforgettable grand slam moment, A-OK by Ty Verde?
Yeah, Ty Verde's. Okay.
All right.
I'll get.
There you go. That's, I mean, wildly specific, kind of incomplete poll, but I asked the question and you answered it. Dennis, are you rolling with Rock You Like a Hurricane or the Phillies Stott walk-up song from the Grand Slam that appears to be A-OK by Ty Verde?
So, yeah, let me see here. We're
going to play it? Or are you going to try to listen to it? Oh, I know this song. Little vibes.
I dig this. I'll take this one.
All right.
A-OK. Malik's song is A-OK in my book.
I like that Malik heard it once and went, if I ever get to do an intro, that's the song. I don't have to look up anything further. I don't have to know. That's it, and I'll describe it exactly as such.
I had to make sure I had a clean version. Make sure, FCC rules.
Could have been anything. All right, so Malik gets to go first. Joel, don't worry, you'll have your chance. Just have to stay on hold. Malik, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes, sir.
All right, the categories are NFL Panthers throughout history. NFL, K is the first letter in their first name. NBA players whose dads also played in the NBA. Or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
Then we'll go Panthers.
All right. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There'll be 30 seconds on the clock, one pass if you need it. I will say the team in this category, even though we know it, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Jalen Coker, Carolina Panthers.
81.
Incorrect. Jimmy Clausen, Carolina Panthers.
1.
Incorrect.
No,
Jalen Coker, Carolina Panthers.
11.
Incorrect. Jimmy Clausen, Carolina Panthers.
2.
Correct. Mike Davis, Carolina Panthers.
52.
Mike Davis, Carolina Panthers.
52.
Incorrect. Jalen Coker, Carolina Panthers.
87.
Incorrect. Mike Davis, Carolina Panthers.
Pass.
Mike Rucker, Carolina Panthers.
I should know that. 56. I should know that.
I just want to let you know you're not the only person that's had the I should know that feeling while playing the numbers game. You get the clock going, the mic is live, and you just you lose some of them. You did get Jimmy Clausen, though, by the way. I actually thought that was a good pull. Coker, 18. You went 81 first, had to flip him. Mike Davis, we would have accepted 27 or 28, running back. Mike Rucker, the one you should have known, 93. So you did get one. You're the leader in the clubhouse. Avoided the shutout. Stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up. And that brings us to Joel. Joel, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. The remaining categories for you to choose from are NFL players whose first name starts with the letter K, NBA players whose dads also played in the NBA, or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
NBA.
All right, I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There'll be 30 seconds on the clock, one pass if you need it. Do you have any questions before we get started?
I do not.
All right, you do need at least 2 for the win, and your time will start when you hear the horn. Jalen Brunson, New York Knicks.
11.
Correct. Cole Anthony, Milwaukee Bucks.
5.
Incorrect. Andrew Wiggins, Miami Heat.
22.
Correct. Domantas Sabonis, Sacramento Kings.
12.
Incorrect. Cole Anthony, Milwaukee Bucks.
Pass.
Klay Thompson, Dallas Mavericks.
11.
Incorrect. Domantas Sabonis, Sacramento Kings.
12.
Incorrect. Cole Anthony, Milwaukee Bucks.
Pass.
What were you going to say for Klay Thompson?
31.
Correct. Did you want to say 12 one more time for Domantas Sabonis? You kind of kept coming back to it.
I was trying to get one out of the way so I could get back to Klay.
Sabonis, you said 12 at least a couple times. We would have accepted 10 or 11, so you were close, just not there. And Cole Anthony with the Bucks, number 50 is the number we were looking for. But you did get Jalen Brunson. You did get Andrew Wiggins. That's all you needed. You got the win. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right. You are the winner. You get the Matt Rife tickets, a pair of them. So stay on the line, and Dennis will grab the info he needs to make sure you get your prize. There you go. That was it. That wasn't like the best played numbers game in the world, but it was
far from.
It was like a stereotypical numbers game where there was a lot of like, I know this one. Oh, I said the wrong. Oh, like where I guarantee you both of those contestants, if they were just in their car driving, listening to someone else play the numbers game, when Mike Rucker popped up and when Klay Thompson popped up, they would have been like 93, 31. Oh, this guy doesn't know it. What a non-ball knower. Oh, man. But then you get on the air, you get that clock ticking, you start thinking about it, you got the prize in the back of your mind. Mike Rucker, I should know this one. Klay Thompson, 11, no, 31. It's not as easy as it looks, is all I'm saying, or sounds is all I'm saying. That's it. All right, just keep that in mind. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Few more reminders. One, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. We're building our community there, and we want to keep it growing. So please do that. Download the app, 99.9 The Fan, Google Play and App Store, completely free. And while you're doing it, a little 5-star rating would go a long way towards making us happy. And then finally, 99.9 The Fan is your home for Carolina Hurricanes games. Tonight, Canes playing Tampa. It is a 7 o'clock puck drop, a very traditional time for that one. 6:30 not puck drop, 6:30 Storm Watch with Adam Gold to get you ready for that one. And then they're off and running, right? Home stretch time, 25 games until the postseason. The Canes are 8 points ahead in the Metropolitan. They are tied. Actually, I should check into. They were tied with the Tampa Bay Lightning, I believe. Ironically, their opponent tonight in the Eastern Conference. They are now 2 points behind, so that can change tonight at the top of the Eastern Conference because Tampa did get their action started yesterday. If you didn't see it, Jake Gensel had an open net for Tampa Bay last night and hit the post on a very un-Jake Gensel-like execution of an empty net goal. Obviously missed the empty net goal. But the reason why I bring it up is sometimes that Olympic hangover hits you at weird times, right? You may think you're playing great. You may think you're locked in. Suddenly you got an empty net opportunity and clang. So we'll see whether the initial kind of knocking the rust off or Olympic hangover, right, depending on whether you are one of the Canes that played in the Olympics or not. We'll see how the rust gets knocked off here tonight against Tampa. But there could be, I'd say, a little bit of growing pains, a little bit of restarting jitters tonight. If it's still hanging around a week, 2 weeks from now is when you get concerned. One or two, I don't never make that play, but I did today. Tonight, I don't know if you get too upset about that. It's been a while since these guys played together.
Yeah, don't be shocked when there's some sloppy play.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be shocked.
Doesn't have to be as obvious as Jake Gensel missing an empty net goal, but, not on the same page on a pass, not on the same page on some communication defensively. I don't want to say it's understandable, right? Mm-hmm. Coaches would say it's not, but it might be predictable for the first game in a while. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have some updates from the NFL Scouting Combine going on, but first, Dennis Cox has some info for you.
I do?
You don't?
I don't, actually.
All right, well then never mind.
Actually, I do have some information for you.
All right, there you go, a little okey doke.
99.9 The Fan, tonight, Canes in action, as Tim said. You can also stream it on the 99.9 The Fan app. It's free, folks. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube, download the app for free, and also the best of the Drive with Tim Donnelly Show podcast, wherever you get your podcast. We have that available too, folks, all for free.
Beautiful. There's some more information for you. We'll get to those NFL Combine insights next.
Tonight, your forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Stankoven with a shot. He scores! Logan Stankoven! And for the first time in this series, the Canes have a lead.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Svechnikov hands it off. Empty net. Bingo! Sebastiano!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Jackson Hewitt handles your taxes and your stress. Inhale our no surprise price of $149 or less. Exhale, paying more for complicated taxes. You won't. Inhale new tax law knowledge. Exhale, missing out on your biggest refund? Certainly not. Don't miss paying $149 or less. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
It's not Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Tuesday. Tuesday! The very first Tuesday.
New scratch-off tickets are available on the first Tuesday of every month.
Announcer said first Tuesday.
Brand new scratch-offs, brand new fun. Now from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Every first Tuesday. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Folks, it's back and it's better than ever. Dennis Cox here from my friends over at Law Tigers. The Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. Last time that you can enter this contest is March 29th, but don't wait, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com to enter. Again, caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-960-3377. That's 800-960-3377. 800-960-3377.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The NFL Scouting Combine on-field portion of the events began today. I want to update you on some of the observations I have. Now, first of all, this is very incomplete, right? There are still guys out there competing. There's obviously the other positions that'll be going later on. So I'm going to do my best from saying, like, this guy ran the fastest 40, because it's like, well, it could be beaten right now.
Like the Olympics.
Yeah, exactly. Like
your Olympic record just got broken.
It also could be like, there's a lot of non-medal winners that finished a run in position for third place. Granted, all of the favorites are still to run. Remember that one time where I was set in silver medal place and I finished 12th? That happened a good amount if you watch the Olympics.
Hey, you're the first one down. Make the first run. Hey, I'm in gold.
Oh, I'm
sitting in gold, baby.
Taking a picture of the scoreboard right now.
First.
But I can update you on a couple of local guys that we played some audio for yesterday. Vincent Anthony Jr., Duke, measured in at 6 feet 6 inches tall. He's an edge rusher from Durham, by the way, so local guy. Measured in at 6 feet 6 inches, 258 pounds. Ran a 4.85 40, vertical jumped 32.5 inches, and also had a 10.3 broad jump. This is going to sound crazy. Those are pretty solid numbers. If that guy did that in like 92, he would be an alien at his size. But pretty solid numbers, kind of run-of-the-mill for a lot of the edge rushers around his size that are also competing at this combine. Brandon Cleveland, defensive tackle from NC State, measured in at 6'3", 305 pounds. He ran a 5.12 40-yard dash, but a 1.78 10-yard split on that. So, when you get to the really big guys, particularly the interiors, I don't know how often you ask defensive tackles to run 40 yards. I don't know if in like any 3 consecutive plays you want them running 40 yards. But it's all about short area quickness, and obviously being over 300 pounds helps. I would say the arm's a little bit shorter than you'd like, 32 3/8 inches, but we're nitpicking here. One of the things I want to point out, and I actually think this is a huge advancement of the way we think of football, I do believe we're getting better and better as a football watching group, right? Like as all of us combined, we're getting better and better at starting with, are you a good football player? And then we go to the measurables and everything else.
Brent Tillis actually talked about that today or yesterday with Anish Shroff. He talked about how, it's one thing to have the right measurables and stuff, but you have to see what the guy can actually do playing. Like, can this guy actually play?
The way I look at it, and I don't know if this is the right way, but I've settled in on it the last couple of years with how I evaluate draft prospects. I will not move anybody up in how I see them as a prospect based on a 40-yard dash or a vertical jump or a measurement at the combine. I will not move anybody up because if I watched you on tape and you didn't look fast, and then I see you run a 40-yard dash and you were fast, I would go, well, that doesn't matter because in a game you're not running like that, right? If you're not running away from people and you're a wide receiver, if you catch it and people are closing ground, and then at the combine you run a 4.29, I'm not going to go, oh, you're actually fast. This is good because you ran a 4.29. It doesn't mean anything. On the field you don't, right? Are you field fast? Meanwhile, on the opposite side, I will downgrade you if you don't meet certain thresholds, right? If you are a position where speed is required and you run a 4.8, I'm going to go, I'm going to go back and double check all your film and see if you're just not a fast guy, because I do think in the NFL everything gets a little quicker and defensive backs are a little bit better and everything else, so you do need speed. So I won't boost anybody, but I will subtract you. The reason why I brought that up is I was surprised. There's something called a relative athletic score, which takes into account your measurements, right? Your size, your height, your weight, your 40, your vert, your broad, all the kind of 10, 20-yard splits, all of it, and ranks you throughout history, right? And there was a player today. His name is DeMonte Capehart, defensive tackle in this year's class, out there at the combine competing. And RAS, right, relative athletic score, is 9.97 out of a possible 10. That ranking, again, incomplete because there's still a handful that's still to finish today. But going back to 1987, that ranking would put him as the 8th most athletic defensive tackle since 1987. There have been 2,046 defensive tackles with a relative athletic score since then. He would be the 8th highest relative athletic score. And I was like, goodness gracious, who is this guy? And I clicked on it. Guess where he went to school? Clemson. DeMonte Capehart. I have heard so much about Clemson defensive linemen. I watched Clemson play a whole bunch of games this year. Capehart is not the one getting all the hype. Peter Woods, interior defensive tackle, is. Not Reuben Bain. TJ Parker on the edge at times has been getting all of the hype. And the reason why I bring that up is I love that Capehart, and no disrespect to Capehart. I don't know him, and I haven't watched film on him. But I love that putting up a crazy athletic combine doesn't immediately mean the Raiders are going to draft him 7th overall. And for a long time, that's what it was. Right? It's much more now like, well, actually, we've watched the last couple of years, and Peter Woods at the same position on the same team has been a better player, right? So who cares at 320 pounds how fast you can run a 40 if we have all this film that says someone else is a better football player? I think that's an advancement in the way we think of football. For years, we had the biggest, no-duh reaction 3 years into somebody's career when the person was a great football player in college, but they were passed up by athletic freaks in the draft, and then they fall to the 4th round, and then 4 years from then, they're having the best career, and we're like, we probably should have seen it. He was the best in college too. It seems like we're now starting with, are you a good football player? And then reverse engineering or confirming what we see on tape and what we know about them as a productive football player with their athletic profile. Thus leading me to something like David Bailey. David Bailey, Texas Tech edge rusher.
Oh, yeah. Very highly rated prospect.
4.5 in the 40.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That is not, oh, goodness, he's 6'4", 250-something, and ran a good 40. Let's vault him up. That is, we watched him. He was a really good football player. We expected him to be drafted highly. Then he goes to the combine and absolutely lights it up. Boom. That's the type of player that you want to target on your board, who is not just an athletic freak with potential, had the tape, confirmed with the athleticism, and that's the Venn diagram overlap that you're looking for.
I think about last year with Omarion Hampton. It's like, does he really have the speed? Like, we see him play. Like, it looks like he has strong speed. Then he goes out there and has all the measurables, runs a great 40. You're like, okay, the athletic profile at the combine fits everything that we matched on tape. And sure enough, he becomes a first-round pick.
Now, once you get beyond the really like, hey, if we miss on this pick, our franchise is going to be set back, I have no problem with taking a shot on someone who if it's 6 to 1, half dozen to the other, there's two prospects. They both have things you like, things you don't like, and one of them has a crazy combine and the other one doesn't. Yeah, go nuts. But when it comes to a first-round pick, when it comes to even a second-round pick, a day 2 pick, I'm not sure how much the look at this guy, he's got a really good, broad jump, convinces me to overlook how much they impressed me or didn't impress me on the actual, game tape on the actual field. Because there are players every year. George Gums Jr., an edge rusher from Florida. Like, I am as big of a draft nerd as there is. And Dennis will back it up, right? I'm always kind of poking around and looking at players and watching tape.
Can confirm.
I had no real knowledge of George Gums Jr. other than he was invited to the combine, an edge rusher from Florida. He's lighting up the combine right now. Now, I'll go back and look. I mean, you've earned a second look, but, I mean, a 41-inch vertical, what does that do for me on an edge? You know what I mean? 41-inch vertical, I mean, I want you in a dunk contest, but I'm not sure that changes things a ton. So I'm actually really glad that that Brantillis was kind of along the same lines of that, because I think the Panthers have done a really good job with that. You know what Ted Earl McMillan's 40-yard dash was last year?
We don't know. He didn't run.
We don't know. He did run on like a little side workout deal, and some reports were somewhere in the 4.5s. But I mean, if it's hand timed, if it's not at the combine, if it's not laser, if it's not even at a pro day, I put a lot of eyeball emojis like, is that so? We don't know. But guess what? If you watched him on tape last year, if you watched him at Arizona, made a lot of plays, right? Made a lot of plays. So the fact that they didn't need Xavier Worthy, you know what I mean? The fact that they didn't need somebody with the athletic profile, although he is also listed at like 6'4" and change, so speed might not matter when you're gigantic. My point is, I like that the Panthers, and I like that the world in general is using the combine more as a supplement than as the main course. Because like I said, 2003, 2007, you go to the combine, you light it up, they don't even care what school you went to.
Yeah.
It's like, you ran a what? You weighed how much? First round pick. And you just end up with a lot of guys who look really good getting off the bus, and then you have all the people that were productive in college being drafted in the 3rd, and they're outplaying you the entire NFL career. As it may be too simple to say, but the first thing I look for when predicting if someone's going to be a good football player is if they've been a good football player.
That's a good start. That's a good start.
And then yeah, like I said, I will disqualify you. Like if you're an offensive tackle and your arms are 29 inches long, I will disqualify you. If you are a quarterback and you're, no offense to anybody specific, a certain short, I would likely disqualify you. There are certain things that I would measure and I will downgrade you, but I'm not promoting anyone based on what they do at the combine.
sometimes as well, like you can find a guy that's a really good football player but doesn't have the full measurables that you might be able to, like for example, Drake Thomas from NC State. Didn't have the measurables. He's 5'10", 225, 230 pounds, went undrafted, but the Seahawks said when he got placed on waivers because he didn't quite make it with the Vikings, said, we want that guy. Let's claim him.
And by the way, I want to be clear. I'm talking about the premier picks.
For sure.
Mid-round picks, late-round picks, take your flyers on whatever direction you want, right? You can go with the guy who's small but had great production. You can go with the guy who's gigantic and fast and didn't have great production. Those picks are much more, willy-nilly. I'm talking with the top ones. You should be able to find somebody with both. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, similar to judging prospects at the Combine. Luke Stampini of On3 and Rivals is tasked with judging prospects before they commit to college teams. If you have some questions about rankings, he answered them for us earlier today, and that's going to start Overdrive. So enjoy that and enjoy the Canes game tonight. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Enjoy a hockey night in Carolina.
Listen for the Get That Out of Here's.
Rejection! Cameron Boozer got a piece! Get that out of there!
The deep looks from downtown.
Arsenault, pull up three, top of the arc. Buries it!
They got posters.
Shot is up, missed, hammer time! Put back jam by Lubin!
The road